There we are. Hey, everybody. You gotta let me know if my audio sounds okay. As always, but I think that this might be like my main setup going forward. So I guess.
Oh yeah, like you positioned.
I mean, ideally, where
is
I
your
would want
webcam
it,
kind of
yeah.
far away, like mine is?
No, I mean it's like about 8 inches away. So I guess we'll see.
Well, okay, yeah, mine's like 7 or 8 feet away. Actually, for some reason, I feel like mine doesn't look as bad as usual. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
Of course,
I don't
it's
know.
I'm small, but sometimes I think Discord sends you like a lower res version for some reason.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. It is certainly possible. I know every time with this specific webcam, it for some reason it shows up as like very VHS-y when it first starts up. I don't know why.
I mean, I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, and I like that it slowly fades away.
Yeah.
Oh, so this week I'm gonna play some Blazing Chrome. This is something that I've put off playing for way too long, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, we waited for the physical version,
right?
And so that took a while. I played it pretty quickly after it after the physical copy arrived. Drum and I co-opted on the Backloggery stream like a week or two after the physical copy shipped. And it was great. It took us just 2 hours, so it could be an ideal MLiG stream game, but I have no idea if it's like rebalanced for co-op or not. Personally, I'm in favor of the philosophy of bringing your friend into the game should never make the game harder. There should be incentive to bring a friend along. So I think a friend should help. I don't think the enemy should be necessarily more difficult. But it does seem to be the general trend to rebalance a game.
Yeah, they don't want you blowing
so
through
I don't
really
know
quick.
if you're going to have an easier time or a harder time.
Yeah,
or
I have
about
no
the
idea.
Same. I have no idea, but it did not take long for us to beat it.
Yeah, but you guys are really good at Contra games. Then again, I did beat the first.
You did really good at Contra.
Yeah, but this is more like Contra Hardcore and Contra 3.
It's true. I mean, as we proved the last time you streamed, Contra 1, not that hard.
No. But starting with Contra 3, I feel like they really start to get pretty brutal. But I have beat Contra 3, so
yeah,
that was a long time
ago. Contra 3, I did not know until the past couple of years that the Japanese version is Infinite Continues.
Oh yeah.
And that kind of really makes me want the Japanese version, because I think part of me kind of thinks Contra 3 is harder than Contra Hardcore, even though I think the prevailing opinion is the other way around. Maybe because like more people have played Contra 3, and so more people just kind of know it.
Yeah.
But I think Contra 3 is really tough.
Well, I guess it's been a long time since I finished that, but I'm going to be using the Super NES, like the official Super NES wireless controller.
Ah, nice. That's what I played it with.
Yeah, this is the first time I've really used it.
Yeah, you were all like kind of opposed to it for a long time because you were like, "Oh, but I can't go to the home page."
And it's true. I mean, like what I did now is I just like took my my right Joy-Con. I just have it over here.
I've done that too, where I just set my like Pro controller within reach, and I just tap it if I have to. But
yeah, well, I guess I'll go ahead and get started. Oh, there's me. Wrong layout.
Oh, I'm. Oh, there we go.
Oh, were you?
Well, I was like in the TV area, but now it's fixed.
At first, I kind of thought, since this looks more like a Genesis game, I was going to use the M30 Bluetooth, but then I realized, oh, it doesn't have there's no button remapping.
Yeah, that's been a stumbling block for me and Drum on our backloggery streams several times because he really likes the M30 controller because this kind of been his go-to recently because his hands are, you know, in not such good shape, and it's just the easiest controller on his hands. So he likes to play with the M30 any way we can make it happen. I think he ended up playing with the Pro controller though, with the analog stick, just because the analog stick is pretty easy on his hands. That controller has a bad D-pad, but you know.
Yeah,
it's easier on his hands to use an analog stick. So I think he ended up using that. But I used the SNES controller as well, just because the button mapping works well for that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, just one hit deaths. Even thinking about it. Okay, so I know there's like a dash. You can. Oh, jeez. I'm just gonna get crushed here at the start, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure you're not invulnerable, if I recall, during the roll.
Oh, you flash. But there's like a melee too if you attack close. If they're close, right? And that's really powerful.
It is.
All right. Well, there's unlimited continues in this mode, I think.
Correct.
So.
And if I recall,
is there checkpoints and levels when you continue?
There are a lot of checkpoints.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember if even when you continue, it might just bring you back to an earlier checkpoint rather than all the way to the beginning of the level. But maybe it does bring you to the beginning of the level. I can't quite recall. Luckily, the last level is very, very short, so you don't have to worry too much about how long it might take you to beat the last boss. It did take us a bit.
Oh, it did take you a bit? The last boss did take you a bit?
It did take a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Does the L button do anything? I don't think so.
I think there is a hold your ground and aim freely button.
That's
is that R?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's no like hold your heading and move out button, unfortunately.
What's the difference between A and B bot? Or A and S bot? That's
an attack bot, and S I think is a speed bot. So I think you move faster.
That's cool.
I think it might have some other benefits. You jump higher. There's a few cases where there's like a 1-up or like a power-up or something that you might not be able to get to unless you have like the S, because you can jump higher.
There we go. Game over. I guess we're gonna find out.
Well, I don't think you got to
no, it took me to this
proper checkpoint. Oh, you did get to a checkpoint?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the checkpoints are
forgiving,
not ungenerous.
So I kind of talked you into getting some of the smart lights today.
Yeah, well, it was kind of on my mind because my my light bulbs in my new room, like sometimes they flicker and sometimes they don't, and they were flickering really bad today. And I was just like, you know, probably a less cheap LED bulb. You know, I mean, they are LED bulbs, but they were very cheap.
Right.
You know, they might, they might not be as sensitive to, in a way that would cause that. So I thought, well, I mean, it is pretty cool what the options that you have with that, you know, to change the color and, you know, the brightness and have like presets and everything, especially since that room is like kind of half a studio.
Right.
I thought it would make sense. So yeah, but they are so expensive. Like I just bought
the reason I kind of got into it is because I got what I felt was a pretty good deal because a bunch of them were on clearance. And I was able to get
unfortunately
two
at
for
my Home Depot they are not on
$3 more than one cost.
Yeah, so it.
But I mean, you think
I'm
those
gonna
are
go
expensive?
all in on like car is going to cost a bit, but it might be worth it since it is like, you know, it is for studio lighting.
Yeah,
and it's also going to be like lighting for streams, not in this room, but certainly in that upstairs room. So, you know, and I could also do fun things like, you know, if we were doing like a Halloween episode, you know, like that Castlevania episode, I used kind of some red lighting, you know, I could do something like that again. You know, there could definitely be fun things to do.
Yeah.
With it, but just having like higher quality lights that don't flicker.
Right, exactly.
Definitely is nice, especially, you know, I mean, you know, the average room would normally not use like so many bulbs, but I mean, there's 24 bulbs in that room, plus one more if you count a lamp that I have.
Well, if you think that's expensive, the Philips Hue bulbs are $50 each.
Right, I like it was. I mean,
I don't know.
That was more.
If they're like better looking or what.
Well, it didn't have as many lumens actually. I saw the $50 one, and it did not have as many lumens. But this is a Philips light, but it's just not that hue, I guess.
Right. I mean, I think that the uses like another service called Wiz. I think that like it's many things. I think a bunch of things use the Wiz.
Okay.
Not just Philips stuff.
Yeah, Wiz appears to be like a
standalone type thing.
When I went to the Play Store on Android, it made it sound like Wiz is like its own company.
Right.
But no, those are not the $50 bulbs, the ones that we got. They're much cheaper than that, but it still adds up. So yeah, I don't often feel like just like sick having bought something, you know?
Yeah.
You know, all these old video games and stuff that I buy, usually no twinge of regret. But spending, you know, like $14-ish per light bulb, ugh. So I just started with the front lights in the room, and I might over time replace the other bulbs in the room. But it's so expensive. But I mean, they should last a very, very, very long time. I mean, it says on the box like 22 years.
Yeah.
That's estimating 3 hours of use a day, though. So I don't know. We'll probably get more than that. Really?
Yeah, I mean, you'd hope. Okay, I see. It says defense spot up there, which gives me like a.
But
the flashing was like it seemed like it was like at a really weird pace.
Flashing what?
The flashing when I'm flashing with the shield around me, it just like looks like
it's probably just trying to not be like, you know, too fast. Like, you know, it's probably trying to not be 60 hertz.
Right.
I think you can get hit twice. It's like one color when you haven't been hit, and then it's another color when it's only got one hit left. I mean, because it is pretty nice. It is 2 hits. Yeah, we know it's been 2 years since the last RGB 200.
Yeah, we are well aware.
And we're promising to make at least one, probably two this year.
Yes.
We've committed to Dreamcast being the next one.
We shot a mini on the Retro Tank and the Coury composite and S-Video device. When did we shoot on Friday, right? It was on Friday.
Yeah, we shot it on Friday. We intended to shoot it like Wednesday,
but we realized that we are very unprepared for it.
You're right.
We had to do a lot more testing on.
It's kind of funny because you were saying it's kind of dumb that we kind of hadn't had a awakening to the quality of some of the cables in our setup due to a composite and S-Video.
Yes.
Video that we were working on, but like I was having this situation where I felt like I was losing more brightness and sharpness than I should, and you know I hate to admit I was like for a moment like, oh man, is this caused by the new SCART? Because like I had done some pretty thorough tests on the first not the SCART, I meant the G-Comp, because I'm running the Coury with its component output through the G-Comp. And the first G-Comp with the 4 inputs and 1 output, I had done some tests on and was, you know, there was no visible difference with it. Like no brightness loss, no sharpness loss. I mean, it was perfect. And I just kind of because of like I was so busy when the second G-Comp came, I didn't do as like thorough of tests with it. I just like, you know, kind of hooked it up and, you know, went with it. I was like, oh man, is the G-Comp like the you know, the 8 in, 2 out, is it losing some brightness and sharpness? And it turned out to be the output cable that I was using.
And it was a nice looking one. I mean,
it looks like a nice cable, and I have no memory where it came from. I showed it to Steve, and he said it looked like Starin brand cables.
Right.
Which
because
you had some as well.
Right. I had one I was using that was like it was nice because it's like a BNC to component, or it's like you know, RCA style.
So yeah, I determined that was actually what was causing it. And I cut it open, like just to take a look at the wiring inside, because I was like, I don't even want to accidentally like use this cable again, you know?
Right.
And I had some older monoprice component cables, which are very high quality cables. Like they're proper 75 ohm. They work really well. The only thing I don't like about them is that the connectors don't hold very well. So I actually went and bought 2 sets of the HD Retrovision. Like they just make like the male-to-male cables, and I actually didn't have any of those. I just had like the extension version that they make that's just like female to male.
Right.
So I bought two of those, and I did verify that the performance is exactly what it should be. Now I don't have any brightness or sharpness loss with using that as the output from the Coury to the G-Comp, and the output from the G-Comp, the OSSC. Like that is perfect. So like now I've always like trusted Steve on cable matters more than anyone.
Yeah.
But now like I feel like I'm newly initiated into his like cult of crazy.
you get why he is the way
making
he is.
Sure that it like it. I mean, I get it, because like there's these cables that like you look at it and it's like deceptively.
Yeah, I mean the steering cables, like, you know, they like mine said like I don't know, it said like super high quality cables or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it was dumb.
And now I just now it's just like I only trust it if Steve says it's good.
Yeah.
Or if I, am able to for myself. And I did not do my due diligence on those cables. I was just like, these look really good. I don't remember how I got them or what, but I cut them up and they will not be used again.
Yeah, I mean, but they actually like let us both down like a weird rabbit hole. That's the reason why this video took so long for us to shoot.
Right. But now, like, I need to.
I'm very happy. I feel very confident in everything that we have set up now.
Yeah, I'm going to need to buy a few more wires, but I didn't want even further rewiring to my setup to hold up the mini. So I've just been recording all the material that I can. Like I've given you quite a bit of material for this episode, but I need to get you more RetroTink stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm gonna be
video stuff. But in terms of comparisons, I've given you like an obscene number of comparisons. Like I don't even know how you could possibly put them all into the episode.
Yeah, we also, I mean, just like making this made me extremely aware just how out of practice we are. Like, I mean, we talked about it. And one of the things I was thinking about that I feel like with the minis especially, I feel like I was at the top of my game in the first two. You know, especially the second one. How do you even get up here? Oh, I can start. That feels like Mega Man X right here. This thing.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I was like, when I was doing my best at stuff like that is when I was doing video logs every week. So I was thinking about.
True. Yeah, we need to get back into that.
No, I think it's my intent to do video logs again starting this week. Like the end of the week.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah, I
heard a donation come through.
Oh.
It looked like
there
it was
we go.
on the screen there. So.
Jonathan Henson with $2. Thank you. Says he picked up Journey to Silius for the NES. Really loving this game. Amazing soundtrack. Have you guys played this before? You can really feel its Terminator roots. Yeah. Have you played Journey to Silius?
I should have streamed that tonight. Maybe I'll stream that next time I stream.
Yeah, that'd be you haven't beaten it, have you?
No.
That'd be a good game for you to beat on stream. Not an easy game, but yeah, I've beaten it. I learned about that game several years ago, and it's amazing to me that like not an like expensive game, because it definitely feels like a game that should be expensive at this point. You know, it's not like it's relatively known in like retro scene, but like it's definitely not a commonly known NES game in general. Oh, we got a new YouTube member as well.
Interesting.
Thank you.
What's interesting about I've never seen like that notification pop up before. I wonder if they just like added those, because usually it doesn't even say that.
I
like
didn't
the name
see it
Kitty
on
here,
the stream, but it was in the chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, Journey to Silius is great, and it does have an amazing soundtrack. I mean, Sunsoft always does have a great soundtrack. In fact, might have been when I was doing the Sunsoft Genesis Batman. Oh yeah, there went that notification on the stream. Might have been when I was streaming the Sunsoft Genesis Batman. People brought up Super Spy Hunter on the NES,
right?
Which is a Sunsoft game. I was completely unaware of that.
I was looking for that.
And I saw it. I was at one of my local stores a little over a week ago, and I grabbed it. It is an interesting game. It seems like it would have a pretty steep learning curve, but it seems like it could be very awesome once you kind of get a grasp on it. Will we ever do? Oh, we got a 199 from Brux.
I love that name.
Oh, thank you. Will we ever do an RGB? Yeah. I
you still there?
Yeah, what happened?
Is the stream still going?
Oh, it looks like it's. I'm not sure.
Oh, the stream is still going. So, okay, this is kind of crazy. So that happened the other day. So there must be something going on with, like, one of my. Hey, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know what's going on. Like, this happened the other day, just kind of out of nowhere. I don't know if it's something that's happening in my basement that is like tripping something and like causing. But it only just started happening like 2 days ago.
Okay. So what's it tripping?
My what is it? GCHI on the wall is like popping, which like makes me lose several things.
What's a GCHI?
That's the you know how when you have the breaker, how it pops out. Do you have like an outlet that has the buttons on it? Do you have anything like that?
It's you're being corrected by many people. That
GFCI. That's right. Sorry, but you know what I'm talking about. Now, when I say that, like the button.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So like randomly, it just like started popping, and I don't know why. Like nothing has been added. I don't know if it's a specific outlet that's causing it, or if it's something I have plugged in, or what.
Huh. Well, I mean, you might need to talk to an electrician about it.
Well, my father-in-law.
There was a time several years ago where
I'm gonna try to switch this. I'm gonna try to
during the summer.
Yeah.
There was like a span of like 2 or 3 weeks where the breaker from my living room tripped like every day, like early afternoon. Like it was really, really weird.
I'm seeing if I can get it back on. But hopefully, I mean, it just happened twice in a row. So the only thing that I can think of that has changed is I plugged in this other Extron. This old Extron. Give me a second just to like take care of it. I'm gonna unplug the Extron and see if it does it, because that is the only thing that has changed since doing it.
So I don't think I really had much of a chance to say anything about the original RGB or the original Xbox RGB episode. It's a system that I feel less confident on in terms of like what I know about it. Like I don't know anything about RGB on the original Xbox. And one thing I do know is that a wide number of analog video encoders were used across its production, and there's supposedly quite a range of picture quality among different models. So I sort of feel intimidated by that. You know, it's the one thing I do know though is that generic component cables are terrible on the Xbox.
Yes.
Like more terrible than most other systems for some reason. There are component you know, like the cheap component cables you get on Amazon, like they basically are like so bad that it's almost like 480p composite. Like, okay, not that bad maybe, but they are not good. There are definitely like rainbow artifacts and stuff. It's weird. It's weird. There were also a couple of our donations during the
blackout. Sorry.
Yeah, there was $5 from Christopher Miller saying no signal.
Oh, hang on. It switched to the PC mic, I guess. I don't know how.
Oh, are you sounding far away or something?
It's not. I'm not. It looks like my mixer is going into this.
Did it change the audio source?
I shouldn't have. This right here, it's not doing anything when I do that. In the chat, let me know if it's making a noise there. Okay.
It works. They hear tapping.
Okay, so that's it. So that should be right then. Okay, there it goes. Stop. I can hear it. Okay. Well, I guess. Okay. Change in position. Maybe I wasn't leaning in enough towards it.
There was also a $1.99 donation from James Style.
Oh, thank you.
Asking, what are our thoughts on Alien?
On Aliens, like the movie, or just Aliens in general?
If we're talking Aliens, the movie, I've actually seen it one time, but it was awesome, and I want to see it again.
Oh, it's like definitely top 5 action movies of all time for me.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But it was lowercase, so he's probably just talking about like Alien.
Just.
What do we think about Alien? Aliens can be fun in movies.
Yeah.
I mean, generally assume aliens have probably not visited Earth.
Really, I think that they definitely have.
Given the you know, the vastness of the universe, I mean, there must be something out there.
I don't know. I think that they definitely have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely fun. I definitely get enjoyment out of you know, reading the theories and stuff, but I don't think it's enough to base any sort of opinion on.
I feel like the melee is kind of a big key to this, I think, because I can get those things to go back and go back in.
Yeah, I don't know if I utilize. I went through phases of where like I'm better than other times.
Yeah.
Can you imagine doing this though with like only 3 continues?
Well,
like, I think that's what hard mode is.
Yeah, I mean, you finished Shattered Soldier, so I'm sure that you would.
Yeah,
eventually
but
have
I
been able
finished
to do it
Shattered Soldier without like getting the last 2 levels. I mean, the game still has an ending. It's not like it doesn't let you finish the game, but there are 2 extra levels, and I cannot imagine. Like, not only do you have to beat the game on a higher difficulty to unlock those, but you also have to like basically play the levels perfectly, because you have to get an S rank or whatever as well, which like I've basically got, like, when I beat the game, I basically got the worst rank every time. Like, I can't even imagine getting S rank.
So does anybody in the chat know if it's possible to even track back what could be tripping the GFCI or GCFI? Or do you just have to...
can you just like install a...
Well, I added that second Extron the other day when we were redoing the wiring, and that was the first time that it had ever popped. I mean, like shortly after that.
It did it when you were doing what? Extron?
When I plugged it, when I connected the second Extron into my setup.
My power went out when I was away from home one day this week, and I always get so annoyed that like, the time the Extron is off, like you lose all your RAM.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, I've actually bought. I didn't buy another. I was going to buy another Extron Crosspoint, but I ended up buying several other devices. Mostly because I wanted to expand like my ability to route like composite and S-video, so I can use those more consistently than just so it's not like a pain to use them.
Oh, okay. Maybe so I could replace it. The GFC. See, I think that the reason they have a lot of the stuff installed is because they did something a long time ago with like a lot of Christmas lights. But maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's just old. It isn't needed in a basement, but then what would be tripping it? I mean, only near water. I mean, it would be in the basement because of, they had flooding in here in the past. So you think I could just put a different outlet in it? Would that be okay? Oh, I did it. I didn't even know that I beat it.
I was like assumed you were dead.
Yeah.
Well, he jumped up and you like made no effort to pull out of the way. He would have killed you, but you killed him just barely in time.
That's funny. I didn't. Right. Okay. So. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense that there'd be one in the basement because of that. So, but you think that it could be just like the age of it? Well, there was a flood. I mean, there was not a flood down here. There was, I mean, a little bit of like water got in at one point, but then they had Everdry come in and they did like $15,000 worth of work. So I got like a crazy sump pump and all this other stuff down here. So I think that the possibilities for actually flooding again are extremely minimal.
By the way, the regular bikes that come by on this road, you can actually jump on them, which is kind of fun. You can just Goomba them.
Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Cool. You can like bounce on them.
Yeah.
If you're pulling a lot on a different outlet from the same line, it could also be part of the issue. I mean, which is certainly possible, but I mean, I don't know if there's like a separate line that I could run.
I love the effect of going in and out of the tunnels and then like the glare from the sun.
Yeah.
John did a really good DF retro on this. Or, well, it probably wasn't a DF retro actually, but
right,
it may as well have been.
So after the levels that you select at the beginning, how many levels are there? Are there more levels beyond that, or just the final levels?
I feel like you just choose a level one more time, but then like you don't go back to the map. But there's kind of a bit of stuff after that.
Okay. Can I jump on it? No, I can't. I thought I was. Oh, I was dead again. Too busy looking at the chat. Okay, so it's not that bad. People daisy chain GCFI. Because there's definitely a chain here. There's two of them in a row.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So, I mean, do you feel like, does anybody in the chat feel like my first priority should be just like to swap it out?
And do you need to consult an electrician?
Yeah.
I mean, charge laser is pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of stuff plugged in, but like most of the stuff isn't like running in conjunction.
I mean, but you know, to be honest, I don't know much about like, you know, okay, you've got all of your, you know, retro system power bricks plugged in, you know. Those just sit there and stay warm, even though they aren't.
Well, they're not. No, I
mean, the amount of power that they provide to the console is like.
All of my retro systems are using almost all of my retro systems are using a single PS2 Slim power adapter with like split.
Oh, right. You kind of made that adapted it to do that.
Yeah.
RGB 200 on ColecoVision.
Maybe. I mean,
definitely not the highest priority, but something I would like to do for sure. You know, I definitely have a soft spot for ColecoVision. But you know, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure after a 2-year absence of the 200 series, people would not. People would be mad if like we came back with Atari or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, no offense to Atari or nothing, but it's, you know, let's face it, not most people's. You know, I think people will be more excited for, you know, Dreamcast or, you know. I mean, I know Wii has its detractors, but that's kind of like the next priority, I think, after Dreamcast.
Oh, for love of the game with the 269 for our favorite Duke Nukem line and impression.
I have to confess, I am not intimately familiar with Duke Nukem's lines.
Well, I mean, most of his lines are just like other, like, I feel like there's a lot of like whatchamacallit, like from like Evil Dead, like Army of Darkness lines that he uses.
Like referential humor.
I mean, doesn't he say like "Hail to the King, baby"? I feel like he said that. But I mean, I gotta admit, like I've never really played many Duke Nukem.
A friend of mine had Duke Nukem 3D back in the day. I definitely remember watching him play it, but yeah, I have to admit I'm not too familiar with it. You bought the Xbox One version.
Yeah, the remake, yes.
Or the remaster or whatever of Duke Nukem 3D.
I'll get to start there. I did say "Hail to the King, baby," which is it's kind of a line, I guess. So the Extron that I saw Mobius ask, like, what was the Extron? Like, I don't know if it is the Extron. Like, it could be. Maybe it's the power cable I'm using with the Extron. Could it come down to that?
The Extrons that I bought recently actually came with power cables, and two of them actually came with VGA, like Extron brand VGA cable, which seemed pretty darn heavy duty. I bought two Extron MPS series, which are like four composite, 4 S video, and 4 VGA inputs, and 1 out of each, and they use regular RCA audio inputs, except for VGA, which is 3.5 millimeter. But I mean, that's great. You know, you don't have to have the Phoenix adapters for those. But they are only 1 in and 1 out, so I'm using Crosspoint then to kind of route those further using like the S video to BNC breakouts. And then I also bought a VGA matrix because I want to do some stuff with VGA. You know, I want to be able to record Dreamcast that way if I need to. And I eventually want to get some like retro PC stuff going. And also like, you know, do more stuff with like HD systems on like a VGA monitor, stuff like that. So I got VGA matrix, and I mean all that stuff seems to be working pretty perfectly. No quality loss that I've been able to see. So man, the VGA matrix, like, it smells so funky. It smells like someone used their like armpit for a cigarette tray, for an ashtray. It smells so funky.
Yeah,
it's like,
that sounds,
not unless you put your nose right up to it. It also is kind of a little bit bent, but it works just fine. I actually opened it up because there was some like hot glue inside it that was like rattling around, like holding some, like there was some glue I could see like holding some capacitors in place.
Oh yeah,
but it works fine.
I saw Mobius was saying something about an external power supply, but it doesn't have an external power supply. Are you talking about ones that have external power supplies?
Or the internal supply? I mean, the boards in those things are kind of sparse as far as I've seen. At least that VGA one.
Well, what I'll do is I'll just leave this one unplugged for a minute and see what happens. Like, for a couple days, and see if it happens again. The internal supply. So maybe that could be what it is.
Does it use a lot of power? Dang, you just really charged through that section.
Yeah.
Yeah, Extron stuff is like it's. I mean, you can count on like an Extron thing being like basically perfect quality, and a lot of it is really cheap for what it is on eBay. Like, I didn't even know if Extron made it. Well, I mean, it's not that I didn't. Extron made a VGA matrix, but it's just like I just like intuitively knew if I wanted a VGA matrix, Extron definitely made one, and I could find one for cheap on eBay, and I did. You know?
Yeah. Shoot. All right. Okay, so what Mobius is saying, like that, I mean, that feels like it could be it, because it happened every once in a while at the old house, but I just assumed that was...
But you had all of the Extrons hooked up there too, right?
Yes, but I mean, they weren't like as close as they are. They're both plugged into the same surge protector here. They weren't there.
By the way, be careful on that continue screen, because there is a countdown.
Oh yeah, I mean,
don't get too carried away with talking about your GFCI and your Extrons. Just like you didn't even realize you beat that boss for about 10 seconds.
It tripped GFCI in the old house too, but I could never pin down what was causing it. So maybe it is that. Shoot, I dropped right into it.
I mean, but you want to use the Extron, so
I'm going. Yeah, but I mean, I can just, if I need. He says it can be fixed just by recapping it.
Oh. I mean, how much would a new one cost?
I have no idea. I don't know if they've gone up in price or what. Just change the power supply. Like, how hard is that to do? I've never opened one up. What I think is interesting is because Extrons, like, they're huge, but they're really light, and you hit them and they just like sound hollow. You ever notice that?
Wait, what?
Like what how Extrons hollow? Just like basically sound like hollow.
Yeah, I mean they're very cavernous inside. Yeah, there's not that much in them.
I mean, I could try to recap it. I feel like that's probably not difficult for me to do. I mean, I have the equipment, I have the ability.
I don't know. I mean, I would be afraid to try to do anything like that, like with something that like affects electricity in my house.
I like how she says locked and loaded. Kind of sounds like.
Yeah, I love like just how hilariously intentionally compressed the voice samples are.
Yeah, I feel like this dash, it does have frames of invincibility, so.
I'm not sure.
Whoa.
Whoa, we got $20 from Craig One. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying, I'm finally getting my Dreamcast modded to run HDMI soon. Any possibility you'll cover an episode about it? Also, the other night, me and my buddies Mike and Miles were talking about you and how much we love you and your work. Well, thank you,
Thanks.
Craig and Mike and Miles.
Die immediately.
Yeah, well, I mean the HD DC or DC HD will be covered in the Dreamcast RGB 200. And if you are planning to primarily play on an HD TV, I would say that probably is the best. I mean, it's got 960p. I mean, it's awesome and does not impact the analog at all. So, you know, you can still hook it up VGA if you want. So, it's I do not have one, but I would like one. But you know, you can if you have an OSSC, you can also get very good results with VGA. Or you know, I expect the HD Retrovision cables will be similarly sharp, but you know, digital is digital. I feel like you are so like focused on this GFCI.
That's exactly what I am. But I'm thinking about it.
You have lost all concentration.
No. I mean, I feel like I'm getting it back now because honestly, I feel kind of confident that that's what's causing it. And wouldn't it be funny if that was what's causing it in the old house too? And it's just gotten worse over time. So, like, wouldn't it be nice to finally be able to, like, know that was fixed?
Right, but that's just been a problem. You just hooked up that second Extron this week, right?
Yeah, like when we redid the cables, because
And that had never happened before?
In this house? No. Yeah. It only started happening, like, that day. Or, like, the following day it happened.
So are you saying, that when you were saying recap, were you talking about recapping the GFCI or recapping the Extron power supply?
Recapping the Extron power supply.
Oh, that I would be less concerned about.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying recap I mean, not that I know much about the hardware that's in play there, but I was like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, Mobius probably would know how hard that is to do.
Want to deal with something like, I don't know if I would want to DIY something like.
I mean, Mobius, do you think that you feel like that's something I could do?
I mean, you would need like a caplet.
Yeah.
And it's hard to really know like what Extron is.
I mean, I could probably take a photo of it, open it up, take a photo of it, and I'm sure people would help me find what I needed.
Mm-hmm. It says most Extrons are really simple to do. We got $2 from Love of the Game again. Thank you. Saying favorite Thunder Force and Thunder Force song. I actually got my first Thunder Force maybe a month or two ago, which was Thunder Force 2, just because I happened to see a copy at a good price, and I hadn't really had any exposure to it until until we did the Mega SG episode, because we had to kind of test it, because I guess that's a good game for testing some of the audio capabilities. It has some distinct characteristics to it, and I just thought it was interesting that it's got like a mix of like overhead segments and stuff.
I mean, the first one's like, I think entirely overhead. The second one mixes in. And the third one
I didn't know much about
gets
like Thunder Force 3 and 4 seems to be the ones people talk about the most. So, especially because 4's just got that one really beautiful level that starts in the clouds and then goes over the water. I would like to get 3 and 4 sometime. Like, I'm not as much of a shmup guy as I want to be, but I do find myself drawn to those. So we'll see. As far as the music goes, the only song that I really know all Thunder Force 2 title screen. But I can't speak to a great deal of familiarity with the series. Maybe Coury has some other answers, and I need to go to the bathroom.
I mean, in terms of like my favorite song from it, I mean, I probably played 2 the most. I feel like 3 is probably the best one. In terms of my favorite music, I'll tell you one thing. I love the intro music to the first stage in 5. It's like the guitar, like like down the, like dragging like the pick down the strings or whatever. I just love how that sounds. But I mean, after that, probably like the first side-scrolling stage in 2. And I saw Mobius like asked what the model of the Extron is, and it's a Crosspoint 300. Thank you, I appreciate it. Because, I mean, if that is what's causing it, I mean, I see no reason, and then I can, if it's going to be really hard, then I'll just see how much they're going for. I don't know if they've gone up in price or what. Shoot. Yeah, I mean, it would be awesome to get a 16 by 16. That would take care of everything that I was having issues with, but I had to run 2 of them together because I decided to, in rewiring everything, I decided to use one to just take care of all of my PVMs. And I use everything else. I use the outputs in the other one, except for sending 3 outputs to the other one. I wanted to use that for, to feed directly to my OSSC and my FrameMeister and Retro Tank, just like different options. Yeah, I mean the 16. I mean, I think my only problem would be like I don't know exactly where I would put that. The 16 by 16. I mean that's fairly huge. It's an 8 by 8 with audio. Shoot. Because I have no problem trying to recap it myself.
Oh, you've got a bunch of lives.
Shoot. You said that.
Do be careful, because if I remember, he does like this boss does like a desperate attack at the end. That's a little different.
Oh, okay. You jinxed it. I'm gonna like. Maybe it's like close. You jinxed it.
Ah. Sorry. You can use 240p with the Wii. I mean, Virtual Console games can run 240p, and I'm quite sure that there is a 240p mode on the Wii 240p test suite. Sometimes activating certain modes in like the GameCube and Wii versions of the 240p test suite is a little weird because you might go to the options menu and it's disabled at first, but there's like another setting that you have to choose to like enable like 480p mode, for instance. You might not have to enable 240p mode though. I can't remember. You know, this has no relation specifically to the fact that I just went to the bathroom, but you know, you often your mind often remembers things when you're in the bathroom, you know. Yeah. You know, it's a very good, you know, sort of like mind cleanser, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I remember that I had meant to say during the past couple of streams, but kept forgetting that I did finally a few weeks ago try a hamburger with an egg on it.
Oh.
It was an excellent hamburger.
The egg ruined it.
I don't feel like the egg specifically was why.
Oh.
Like I didn't feel
but
like
but you don't feel like it like ruined it or anything like that.
Oh no. I mean, but if I did not know there was an egg on it, I might have not noticed. Like I might have like mistaken some of it for just like the cheese. Like I like at first I didn't even like feel the egg texture, but like I only noticed it because I was looking.
Right.
I did not feel like it necessarily contributed hugely to the burger, but it was a very good burger.
I heard another, just so you know, so in case we missed it, I heard the donation.
Oh, we got Daniel Alexander with $4.99. Thank you. Any chance of an updated studio tour setup video this year? Also, do you have a streaming schedule? Yes and yes. We are, since both of us have radically changed our setups, you know, Coury out of necessity because you moved.
Yeah.
But me just because I built a new room and you did it. Yeah. In fact, I actually did I've documented some of the process of setting up the new room up to this point. It's still not 100% finished. Now that it's been functional, but I've been making some tweaks. So definitely later this year. I think we're going to each individually do new setup videos instead of just like one video for both of us. So yeah, that is 100% in the plan. Don't expect it like in the next couple of months or anything, but you know, maybe, you know, probably in the second half of the year. I'm probably going to save it for all 5 parts of it.
Yeah, and that, you know, we might not like I could probably do mine before, like in a like a a different time period. They don't have to be like in a row or something like that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, especially since you said like yours would be as like, it might be good for you to do yours first because like that would, like if there's certain things that you kind of cover in that, like G comps or whatever, like I might not have to like say as much about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I maybe don't do it like right away, because you want to make it pretty settled in your setup. Because
yeah, I mean, I've been switching stuff around, and it's gonna. I mean, I haven't been switching a lot of stuff around, but I mean, it's just.
Yeah, well, once you do
like
a couple of
things.
episodes, I think you'll, just like me, I've like found things. It's like, oh, like this doesn't work perfectly.
Right, and
you
even
know,
stuff
and
as
so
easy as the cabling that we just struggled with, like, is certainly part of that.
Mhm.
You know, just trying to figure out what is like the best combination of things for our situation.
Yeah. Also, there was $2 from Asa Davis with, you know, as we all know, Klonoa is really good.
Yeah.
I actually was playing Klonoa earlier today.
Oh yeah. Just because you
but
felt
I'm
like
sorry
it?
to say it was in composite.
Uh.
I recorded some Klonoa for our upcoming mini, which, as you mentioned, is on recording composite Nest video with the Coury U and the Retrode 2X Pro. So, you know, there's two more recent options that have come about. You know, it's kind of funny how like composite Nest video has become like challenging to deal with, just because of like a lack of, you know, support on the OSSC natively and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's cool to have these new devices that, you know, I like being able to use like those signals, just because it you know, it lets you show a more well-rounded view of like what's possible.
So I see Mobius was talking about like how some of the Extrons have a pretty, like the 300s have a failure rate, like it's talked about a bit. So I guess maybe that's I mean, I feel like that's what it's got to be. I mean, it would make sense, and it would be nice to solve this mystery that's gone on for around like 5 years.
Well, if you need to get another Extron, I mean, they aren't that expensive.
Well, I mean, are they still? Are they still as low as they have been?
Well, I wasn't looking at cross
but
points,
I wonder if...
I mean, I got two. I bought two of those MPSs for $60 shipped, and like that VGA Matrix was $25 shipped.
Right, but I mean, I wonder if it's... I mean, if it's easy to recap it, I mean, is it just the caps that are causing the failure, or is it something else? Because if I would rather recap it and know that it's fixed versus just buying another one that could also have issues.
Mm-hmm. We got $2 from My 4-Track Machine. Thank you. Asking any thoughts on Analog DAC and Pocket products. We both have the Analog DAC. I haven't used it yet as much as I would like, but that is definitely going to be a mini episode, I think. Probably.
Yeah, I mean, so
future.
I think based on like how challenging of a time we had with this mini that's going to be coming out, just like recording it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we should like make a priority just to like do that sooner rather than later. And also, we've been talking a lot about just doing minis about things that are more, I don't know, just like some, like if there's like a game we want to talk about. Like even if there's like a new release that, you know, it might not exactly be the most popular thing. It might not be exactly what people want. But I think it'd be really fun to do a video on a game, and in a way that I have to like think about the game a bit more than I guess I have been in the last several years. You know, it just kind of
forces you to pay attention to like what works.
I mean,
and what
you're very
stuff.
good at paying attention to specific nuances in games, and a lot of times I feel like I miss it, and I think that that's just because of sometimes it's just like juggling with like other things going on in my life at sometimes.
Well, sure. You have many more responsibilities than I do.
I thought that.
Like I was saying, like you were saying you wanted to play, like.
Whoa, this is awesome.
Oh yeah, doesn't this look kind of crazy?
Yeah, it's awesome looking.
Like I was saying, like if we had time to do it, like shouldn't like you were saying you wanted to play the original version of Trials of Mana with the official translation, and you know I want to play the remake because I've played the
I mean, well, I want to do that as well. I'm gonna play the remake as well. But
but you were saying you kind of want to play the original version first, right?
I mean, I should.
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's an idea for doing just a video on a game. I mean, you know, there's so much missed opportunity, I think, for just like, you know, recording stuff that we're just casually playing, and you know, we could basically have a video for free, so to speak. You know.
Yeah.
For substantially less effort.
But yeah, exactly, and I think that's something we should do more often.
We need to make it just kind of a part of what we do. Yes, I agree.
And you know, like a lot of subjects might not be exactly the thing that like people want to see, but that's the beauty of minis.
Right.
Is that it's okay if
they're not meant to be in the way of the next main episode.
Yeah.
You you were really, dude.
What?
Did you finish Resident Evil 2?
I did. I finished it last night. And then I immediately started up like the second scenario.
Game B. They don't call it Game B in the.
Well, it's like second run or something like that.
Second story or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. The noise that the plant things make.
Oh yeah. Like
it's like
almost
like it was giving me like shivers because it's just like it's pretty creepy.
It is so good though.
I mean,
I think it's good that you played Claire because, you know, there's, I mean, not to spoil anything on stream, but there's that small area that is in Claire's story that's like kind of like a completely new,
like, the whole thing with Iron,
place
with the chief,
they
right?
visit that doesn't exist in the original.
You mean like the stuff with the chief?
Yeah. I mean, that stuff happens basically, but
you never
it's like
see
in his office. Like the stuff with the chief is like in a different location in the remake that just does not exist in the story of the original.
Right.
Like I can't recall.
So
anything.
did you do both characters then?
I did. I played Leon first, and then like the next week I played Claire.
Okay, because I'm definitely gonna continue with Leon.
Yeah, I mean it's the rare game that, like, even in our old age we're like, oh, I just gotta start. I gotta replay it right away.
Yeah.
It's interesting how the Game B, like sort of truncates the beginning. Like you basically
I like that
through the city and stuff.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess I don't want to really spoil it, but I mean, I was very, very surprised that, you know, for as big of a deal as everyone made about Mr. X, he just like gets like taken out of nowhere.
Well,
I mean, I feel like he's probably plays a bigger role in the second, like maybe towards. Cause if I recall, isn't he like the real final boss in scenario B in the original?
I'm trying to remember if that's supposed to be Mr. X or.
I mean, it's been a long time since I played the.
Or like a final form of Birkin. I'm drawing a blank. So, Drum came over here and played my copy for October streams this past year. So I was, kind of able to get a fresh look at scenario A.
Oh, okay.
Because I played Leon first and he played Claire first.
I see.
And I was like, wait a second, I didn't like. I remembered Mr. X coming here, and people in the chat said that, oh, that's just game B. Like it's not locked to Leon or Claire. It's a game B thing. I'm like, oh, because see, in my memory, him coming back happened in both scenarios. But I guess I just remembered what happened in the second scenario. So that is not the end in game.
Okay, so he's the final boss for Leon on scenario A. Interesting. Okay, I mean that's fine. I just think it's funny because he gets like he gets just taken out of nowhere, like super quick, like ripped in half.
Yeah, well, it surprised me that he didn't come back because when I saw Drum play, because I was like, I'm appearing later. What's going on? So yeah, it is cool that they make him like a part. Like it always seemed weird to me that he is missing from scenario A. It makes him just feel like less like a part of the game,
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really fit into the story in a meaningful way anyway. But other than that, he's like kind of a nemesis prototype. But
right.
It doesn't really fit the story of Resident Evil 2 itself. But it's I mean, the way he is integrated into the game is just so good.
I was very surprised because, in the original, there's the big cutscene like of him getting dropped in, and here he's just like, oh, here he is. And you're like, what?
Right? It's like that makes it so much more horrifying.
Yeah, because you're just gonna, you put out the fire on the helicopter, and then suddenly he just like you're gonna go and check it out, and he
like, can you even imagine playing the game not
knowing that he's coming?
Yeah, like, I mean, you'd never played the original version, and like, it's just like, oh my gosh, what is that? And then you didn't even have this sense of like, oh, he's like chasing me. Did he ever Kool-Aid Man for you?
What?
Did he ever Kool-Aid Man through the wall for you?
No, is that happens?
That's the thing.
Does it permanently make a hole there?
There was when drum not happen, and there were one or two shortcuts that he created for me.
Really?
that I thought were rather convenient. To be honest. Yeah, there are a couple of places where he can just Kool-Aid dance through the wall, and you've got a shortcut. I've missed like 3 donations.
Yeah, you wanna take care of it.
Oh, we never say anything about the Analog Pocket, but obviously we haven't used it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. And the NT Mini, I guess I thought it was just gonna be open pre-orders for a certain amount of time, but apparently it's like it's sold out.
We got $2 from Ben Brody asking, why have neither of you played any Jazz Jackrabbit? I mean,
and why isn't it as good as Space Harrier?
I mean, Ben Brody seems very confident, and I guess he must have us pretty figured out because I've
never played it either. I mean, I'm like, familiar.
Is it DOS?
maybe. I mean, I don't know.
I feel like that's a one of those 75 hertz games or something. I could be wrong though.
This level.
I don't have the most, robust experience with like DOS and, early PC games and stuff like that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We got $5 from Colin Behrens. Thank you. Saying, I would like to see your thoughts on more recent videos, perhaps shorter videos. It's my life in gaming, not my life in retro hardware only. And you're absolutely right. I mean, I've said before, but when we started the channel, like, I would say that we, and the 4K TV episode, I think, was a good balance where it really allowed me to do a lot more with recent games and not just retro games. Although retro was, kind of considered a relatively equal partner in that video. When we started the channel, we had not really intended for it to be hardware focused or retro focused. I mean, at the time, I probably played like 70% like current gen stuff and like 30% retro stuff. Mostly streamed retro stuff, and and then played a mixture on just my regular gaming time, probably leaning slightly more toward current releases. And I think the reason that we gravitated toward retro was because we just found it easier to have a voice in that. Like no one.
Well, also, I mean, I think that
no one
our capture setup suddenly made it.
We had to say about the latest release when everyone else was talking about it.
Yeah. And I think that would still remain true, but I mean, it just gives us our own excuse to like play these games right away.
Sure. And I do a lot of the times find myself playing modern games in my free time because it's in some ways it's like an escape, Yeah. Not to say that like retro games have become work or anything like that, but they are something that I do a lot for work. So
right.
Like lately I've been working on finally finishing the second expansion in Final Fantasy XIV, Stormblood. I seem to be on right at the tail end of it. I think I'll be it this week. Almost level 70. But yeah, and then not only was it easier to find I do think at the end of the day we're more passionate about the retro stuff, so I think it was kind of just we naturally gravitated toward it because people cared what we had to say about it, and I think we in the end really were more passionate about it. But and then the hardware, it just again, like people just kind of responded to it, and we found ourselves taking an interest in it as well. So, but we do want to talk more about just games. Sometimes we feel like we're obligated to do hardware stuff just because that's what a lot of people really want from us. But people still enjoy it when we do those end of the year videos.
I mean, that's what a majority of people that discovered this channel. Like that is what they want to see from us.
Mm.
And there's nothing wrong
But
with
I
that.
think at this point, I feel like we've built up enough of an audience where I feel like we've earned the right to just kind of do what we want with some videos. If we just want to play some games, talk about just some games, I think we should allow ourselves to do that. It's just that right now we feel like we've got so much catch up to do, I guess.
Yes.
Being Analog Frontiers finished, but then I feel like we've been keep saying that once that is done, like it's gonna feel like the possibilities are endless for like.
And it does, but but we should be doing these minis also in between, just because Just because they're fun, it would be fun for us to do.
Absolutely. So once you finish this mini, you're going to work on the second part of the first party controllers episode.
Right. And you know, I've already done a bunch of work on it. And you know, like your section's already even done. I mean,
it's voiced.
Yeah.
After I finish getting you like material for mini, I'm going to start getting back on recording the controller actions, as we've taken to calling them. You know,
yeah.
the shots where you see our hands with the gameplay clip. And, so I am still behind on donations. Sorry, everyone. We got $4.99 from Sean Quinn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coury, is your wife going crazy with water and toilet paper like mine? We have like 60 rolls. If so, what's the weirdest thing you've stocked up?
No, we haven't done any kind of like stocking up. You know, surprisingly, I mean, there have been. Hopefully, it's not like a major mistake, but in general, like we've just been, you know, safe. You know, like we have like the kids and ourselves are, you know, washing our hands a lot. But other than that, like we haven't really done anything else, like in preparation. So, in terms of like stocking up on things, just, I don't know. I do since we got you here, I do want to apologize that we have not done the hot sauce that you sent us, because I made the mistake of watching a compilation from the show Hot Ones of people having that hot sauce that you sent me, and I'm terrified.
I watched like one or two, and it was never like the worst one though.
Oh, and the ones I saw was like basically the worst one. I could not.
Oh, one of the ones I watched, it was like more like the. And you have to keep in mind too, they'd been eating so many ones up to that point.
But this is
well.
like, I don't know. It's like, it scared me. It scared me. Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I'm nervous too, but you know, I like spicy food, so I'm not the sort that usually challenges myself to, you know, the kinds of things that don't normally eat, you know, for just like normal enjoyment. But you know, I'm not overly scared. I have had like, you know, some supposedly very hot sauces before that didn't exactly knock me on my feet. But, you know, I don't have a vast experience with that kind of thing. We also got 2 pounds from Retrode from the UK.
You.
It's 2:30 a.m. and I can't sleep. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, we're coming at you with our low energy live streams. So maybe this will put you to sleep.
Let's see. I think there's. We got 50 pesos, I believe. Wow, thank you from Lunita Production. Hi, when you guys are going to do part 2 of first party controllers?
Yeah,
you guys are the best. That is going to be the next. After we're doing this mini episode,
that's happening.
You know, remember, that's like the casual conversation format. And
that's really like, we did that because we needed something to get out this week for sure.
Right. Well, we had hoped to get out this past week, but you know, but it's definitely going to release this week. Mostly because, like, you know, you're kind of out of practice, and I realize like the first party controllers episode is going to take longer to edit than you think, and we just need to have like something that's going to be easier for you to edit for, you know, the first video you've edited since, you know, the end of the year video.
Yeah.
or
and
year
that
and a
wasn't even
half
a full
of it.
video. That was just like my segments.
Yeah, so I thought that's why I suggested we do a mini. It's like you need a warm.
I mean, it was the same for you. I mean, your segment in the end of the year was like the first thing you would first episode you'd edited in months, in like 6 months or something like that.
Yeah. Since I would been working on the analog front scripts.
Yeah.
But
as I said earlier,
the second part of first party controllers is going to be the next episode you're going to do after that. And I think just to keep things fresh and like not burn us out, while I'm working on Analog Frontiers, we probably should do like alternate like regular episodes and Analog Frontiers episodes with minis,
Yeah. But as I said earlier,
do some of those just about a game, or of course, again with the minis, like we do certain obligations that these tech things that people want,
or
to
even
hear
just
us
like a
about.
subject.
We want to do like Mike Cheese, SCART to component and component to SCART. We want to do the analog DAC. Although in a lot of ways, I think those will be easier than the one we're working on now.
Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, that could have been combined with. Almost makes more sense combining that with the Coury in some aspects.
Yeah, I can see that, but there's really no adding.
Like, if you get this guy powered it up enough, you're like, really? Oh, I died. I didn't realize that. But as I said earlier, I'm really gonna make a priority to get back into doing video logs this week, just because I feel like I was just in a really good place when I was making those. I see that Exadrillo 99 is saying Analog Frontier seems kind of like a magnum opus of everything that we've been producing the last few years. Big documentary on something. And really, that is it. I mean,
it is a magnum opus for sure. I mean, it's like the documentary version of the tech videos that people like from us. And not only that, it really kind of is at this point a once in a lifetime kind of thing, because I am very proud of it, and I have enjoyed crafting that story, but I could never do this.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of I've been joking about it, but I mean, it might be true. It might be the best thing that we ever do.
It's hard to say. I mean, not to say this all down here.
Downhill from here, right?
But
I mean, it's a very real possibility that it could be the best thing that we ever do. I mean,
right? I mean, if my life in gaming is just me and Coury, just making our very our very meager means on YouTube, we could never do something of this scale again. Like I said, it probably should not exist.
Right.
We consider ourselves to be way over budget, way over schedule, as it is. It could not. Something like this could not be done without I mean, basically, you gotta consider I spent about half of last year working on the scripts, going through all of the interview footage, and I had to stay focused on that. I mean, I did take time out to help Coury on his episodes, but I just felt like I put so much strain on Coury to have regular content out while I was working on even beginning to make something. And you know, I really enjoyed writing it, and I enjoyed editing it too, but I couldn't do that without, like, I would not knowingly go into this scale again without, like, not being able to put a strain on Coury, not being able to reduce our ability to get regular content out. I mean, if you know, if Coury was doing regular episodes, and you know, someone else was doing regular episodes, and someone else was editing Analog Frontiers while I wrote it and shot it, like, you know, we would have to have a team of, like, at minimum 5 people for the channel to not just, like, shut down to make a project of this size again.
Jeez,
we would have to, like, be able to hire many people to do something like this again. This is not like a 2-person project. Yes. You know, it really isn't.
Yeah, we would need, like, and we had help, like, on shoots, and you know, we hired people on shoots. But I mean, even just like the research and like writing it and everything like that, like
it was a gargantuan task. And,
yeah,
you know, and will continue to be, but hopefully a little bit less of one now that the style is kind of established. And also the fact that, you know, we were editing it at kind of an awkward time. You had just moved. I was revamping my setup, you know, so that definitely slowed us down a bit as well. But it was intense getting that first episode edited. But yeah, so like I say, yeah, magnum opus. Like, it's not that we won't continue to do documentary stuff, but more likely it will be stuff that's like on one person or a small team or something like that. You know, we would love to, you know, talk to people who, you know, worked on, you know, a lot of cool old games, or, you know, we would love to do like more like complete works.
Oh yeah.
Documentaries like we did with M2. We'd love to do stuff like that, but that's like on a whole other scale. You know, I mean, M2 was a huge project in and of itself, but like it's this self-contained thing. This was just such a grand project that, yeah, we will continue to do documentary, but they won't quite be like this. So this is something very unique and special, and I'm glad that people have been enjoying it. I think we got some. Did we get?
I saw one. A 2-pound
there's
one.
another retro as.
Thank you. Like.
Yeah, 2 pounds again. Thank you. The order on the stream is stuff. Could you guys play light gun games on stream? We haven't done it in a long time, but we have. We certainly can.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've done that.
Yeah, but not a difficult thing for us to do at all, no.
I mean, it might be harder in my space now, but
it would be way easier in my play.
I don't know. I still got that space on my table here. As time goes on, I could see myself maybe pulling out the consumer CRT. I wish I had gotten rid of the 27-inch and kept the 20-inch instead, though.
Oh, you mean get rid of that 27? I mean, don't get rid of it.
Well, no, I'm not gonna. I mean, I wish that, like, I had given. I gave the 20-inch to my friend Chris.
A 20-inch Toshiba?
Yeah, I wish I
don't remember you having that.
Yeah, I wish that I had given him the 27-inch and kept the 20-inch. It just would have.
Well, I do not get rid of that 20.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm just saying, like, I guess maybe I could probably hook it up, but I feel like it might be.
Yeah, I mean, I really like my 24-inch. I mean, I won't lie, I have kind of been thought like trade sometime, but I don't know. I do kind of like the size of of the 24 now, especially because I've got I'm using that space really well, and I don't know if the 27-inch might fit in there, but I'm not sure. It would definitely fit if I didn't have the shelf above it, but I mean, it's possible if you ever did want to consider trade.
I did not.
I don't know. I'm the original owner of the machine, so I kind of feel attached to it.
Well, maybe I'll get it out tomorrow and see what it looks like.
No, Coury didn't have a 36-inch. I used to have a 36-inch HD CRT from Sony, which I loved for like maybe 6 years, and then I kind of became a bit disillusioned with it, I guess. You know, once I realized, oh, this isn't really the thing for retro games that I once thought it was.
Well, this last level here is notably.
Well, there are many checkpoints. I mean, it's.
Well, I don't know. This seems like this whole section
map,
here is fairly sparse on the checkpoints. I thought there would be, but there's.
Well, there's not going to be checkpoints on the until after the bike.
Right. I'm just surprised that the bike seems to go on a little bit longer than I was expecting. So like those are tough jumps right there. You know, there's like multiple bosses.
Oh, we got $9.99 from Daniel Alexander. Thank you.
Thank you.
With your current topic, I'd love to see smaller vlogs from both of you about recent equipment purchases, studio updates, and thoughts about past games, like Coury's video on Lunar. Thanks. Well, thank you. I mean, we do for Patreon subscribers and YouTube members. We do those exclusive-ish video logs, or
well,
we kind of got out of the habit of doing it in the latter part of last year, just because we needed to kind of focus on things. But like you were saying, you kind of want to get back into it. Those are, by the way, super casual, like very low production value videos that are meant to, take up very little of our time, and just be something that sometimes we may just come up with on spur of the moment. Very little editing or production in those, but that is something we have done. And those, at one point you started releasing those like the videos are still unlisted, but you put them in a public playlist like 3 months after they were exclusive to like supporters, I think.
Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? How is this not? Please be the end of please be a checkpoint. Come on. Okay.
I know what's going to happen. I knew that was going to happen.
I mean, this level.
I knew it was coming, and when Sushi said, "Oh," I was like, "See what's going to happen." That bear, is, I'm pretty sure, supposed to be from. If you recall, when I streamed Oniken.
Oh, really?
That there's a part where you're on a bike and you fight a mechanical bear. At first it looks like a regular bear, but then it's a mechanical bear. It chases you for a while. Yeah, and you have to blow it up. I never finished that. Actually, after since we had time left in the stream, after we finished Blazing Chrome, I tried to play Oniken, see if I could get back into that. But like that level I was on, so hard. Like it was really hard, even when I was you know, when I played on this stream and had played the rest of the game, and I was just so out of practice, like I didn't even get back to the boss, and I felt like I couldn't work up a groove, you know. So I'll probably have to restart that game. I guess. Maybe I'll play Duddleson first. That seems like a very interesting game. And some people are saying they like Duddleson more than Oniken.
Oh, really?
It does seem more unique, I think. And of course, the team had more experience at that point as well.
I mean, there's a lot going on here that makes it at times hard to like keep up.
This is kind of random, but have you ever played much Soul Blazer?
The game? Yeah, I finished it.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
What did you think of it overall? Because
I like it. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I had never really tried it at all before, and I booted it up on my SD2 SNES, recording footage today, and you know, obviously I need to kind of learn what the controls are. But it seemed intriguing. I mean, that's kind of I feel like the case with a lot of Enix games in that era is they're very interesting, but also very weird.
Oh, come on. That's intense.
Yeah. You're getting the hang of it though.
Yeah.
You keep improving. But yeah, like Soul Blazer is a little pricey.
Is it really? I mean, I guess it's like.
I'm pretty sure like it's at least $60.
Oh.
It might be more than that.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell it's like a quintet game because it has those same sound effects.
Well, yeah, and it's very. It seems more like ActRaiser than like. To me, it seems more like ActRaiser
than Illusion of Gaia.
Than Illusion of Gaia. Or,
yeah, for sure. But I mean,
or Terranigma, which is just interesting to me because those are a loose trilogy in a sense. But like what I saw, I was like, oh, this is.
Well, no. I mean, like they all have this very similar themes, but I think the trilogy is more considered like Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, and Terranigma.
Yeah, oh, I know it is. Rather than ActRaiser. ActRaiser's not included. But right. What I'm saying is, like it struck me as being more like I would have loved in more ActRaiser based on the very little I played than I would have Illusion of Gaia and Terranigma. But I've not beaten Illusion of Gaia, and I've played very, very little Terranigma. So it's hard to really say. You know, that was actually something I was thinking about not that long ago. Was like, you know, if I really stop and think about it, like I don't know that much about the RPGs on Super Nintendo that aren't like Squaresoft, Breath of Fire, and Lufia. And I have not beaten any of the Breath of Fire or Lufia games. Like, it just kind of surprised me when I stopped to think about like my SNES RPG experience is like not as well rounded like I might think it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you should play.
Yeah, well, the Enix stuff is like I say, a lot. So much of the Enix stuff, of course, like a lot of it's just like Enix published. Like I don't even really know if
you should
Enix really
you should play
developed much back then, or if they just like were a publisher. I don't know if Enix really had like in-house teams.
What's the one that I really want to play that I have? Robotrek. It's like a Super Nintendo game that I've never played, but I bought it. A while back, or a few years ago. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Well, a lot of the Enix games are like, they're very weird. So you kind of find like sort of varying opinions on them. Like,
right, like
some people love them because they're like
Evo.
So different, and some people like kind of hate them because they can't figure them out. You know?
Yeah. You know you should play is Tecmo's Secret of the Stars.
I've always heard that's not good.
I feel like it's probably not that good. I do have it though. I do have it.
I mean, I actually was kind of close to booting it up while I was recording footage. I was like, you know, how bad could it be? I mean, do you know if it's bad?
I mean, I feel like it's. I mean, I don't know if it's bad, but I bet it's like there's nothing special about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like I tried to play Breath of Fire 1 this summer, and you know, I thought I was going to appreciate it a lot more than I did when I played the Game Boy Advance version. I was like, you know, I think I appreciate like just a good old vanilla RPG much more than I used to, and I do. Like, you know, back then the GBA version came out, you know, college for me, and you know, that was also when I played the original. You know, the first time I ever finished the original Final Fantasy was actually the PS1 version. And like I really came to an appreciation of that.
Yeah.
That I didn't really have before. I was like, hey, you know, just a good straightforward RPG. This is really good. But for the most part, I was like really into like the different systems and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like the older I got, I was just Dragon Quest.
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
I mean, I'm the same way. I just got so sick of systems, and you know, it always felt like it's like a new thing you got to learn.
Yeah, which don't get me wrong. I mean, I still love stuff too, and can get in the right mood for it. But like, more often than not, I feel like I'm just in the mood for like a Dragon Quest-y sort of RPG.
Shoot, come on. It's like it shakes it so much, and it's like really hard to tell what's going on. It's like the way the screen shakes. It's hard to like see things that are going on. Like it might be easier on a smaller TV.
If you want to try Final Fantasy games, should I start with 13? 13 is one of the least liked Final Fantasies. For what it's worth, both Coury and I like it. But it is not a very popular one.
Yeah. I would say that's probably not the right one to start with.
No.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what I would tell people what to start with at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if you enjoy like old RPGs, you know, if you know, random encounters and pixel graphics and, you know, reading text does not turn you off, then, you know, I think it's hard to go wrong with like Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VI is like a really good balance of like having characters that have unique traits but are also highly customizable. And it just got everything. It's got a great story. It's got a fantastic soundtrack. It's just a really vast and expansive game that kind of goes places a lot of a lot of RPGs don't. You know, even I have not seen an RPG I can really think of that does something quite as drastic as it did in terms of the story and the world. You know, I've seen some games that come close, but they, you know, even recently is Dragon Quest XI, perhaps, but doesn't quite go as drastic as what that. It's an amazing game. And generally, I consider it my favorite.
Well, speaking of which, I guess it'd probably be. I think the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo came out after the live stream last week. So
I was really happy. So like unenthusiastic about it.
You were unenthusiastic about it?
No. I said I was glad that you enjoyed it because you have been so unenthusiastic about it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was like, I didn't hate it. I said I didn't dislike it.
Yeah, I mean I was worried you were just. I mean, the music is incredible. Like, I feel like that's my favorite part about it. Like, they just did such a good job, like, making it feel like, you know, they didn't deviate too much, but they also just, like, gave it a really nice update.
Come on.
It's great.
Finally.
You know, I want to play. I definitely want to play the demo again. I enjoy the feel of the battle system.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
But I need to learn a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a little bit too chaotic for me. I found it very difficult to like know. I wish there was some sort of feedback when your ATV.
Yeah, that's really the worst thing about Drum. Drum was talking about that too. He said he loved everything about it except like he wished
there's just no
just, like, if
like
you're not
no
staring
like
at
audible
that meter,
feedback.
like you just would not. There just needs to be like a ding or a flash or something.
Right.
Yeah, that's definitely the other thing I wished was that when you're running around, you party's HP. Because like you don't like you can hit the X button and go into the menu and use potions, but you don't know if you need to unless you hit the X button.
Right. The music on this was pretty awesome.
But I mean, my gosh, it's like, I mean, no matter what, you know, little nitpicks, you know, I could have, like, oh my gosh, it is so much better than Final Fantasy 15.
Yes.
Like, I mean, no offense to anyone who like loves the Final Fantasy 15 battle system, but I just don't find it enjoyable at all.
No,
like, I've heard some people like, oh yeah, I wish I was you. I wish I loved the battle system in Final Fantasy 15, but I didn't often die in Final Fantasy 15, so it's not like I had a hard time with the battle system, but it wasn't fun to me.
Yeah, I mean, I still think I'm going to be annoyed with the way it's going to end. Like on a different note, I think I mentioned it before. I feel like Square is going to like get into big trouble with how they're marketing
you were saying that you think
I can imagine like a class action lawsuit about it.
Because people think that it's a remake of the full Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's like the whole game.
7. Yeah.
I mean, maybe that sounds crazy to think of it like that.
What I was thinking, I have no idea. Like, once I thought of this, I was like, oh, I bet this is probably like a fan theory on Reddit. But I have not read anyone discussing this. This was just something that popped into my head after playing the demo. Because, it's kind of annoying that it's just called Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's not like it doesn't have like
a subtitle or something. I know. I hate that
it doesn't have a subtitle. Like, what are we going to call it when the other parts of this are out?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, not only that, but like just like the name Final Fantasy VII Remake is stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very.
Like that's like it's like that's what it is, but just flat out calling it Final Fantasy VII Remake is dumb.
It is dumb, but I had a thought though. Like, what if remake is the subtitle and we don't realize it? So, like, let's assume that it's like.
Come on, I still lose the extra life.
Let's assume that it's going to be 3 parts, and like, what if there's the whole thing about in the story, there's the whole thing about the Genova, right? So what if they go with like this thing? Like, what if the second part is like reunion, and the third part is something like rebirth or something like that? Like, what if they're all these like things? Like, that could be kind of cool.
It could be, but it still doesn't. I mean, still saying remake is stupid, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's not a great title right now, but.
And Square, yeah.
I mean, when they know it's going
Jonathan
to be multiple parts, they should have something that is going to make it consistent. I mean, Xenosaga Episode 1 wasn't just Xenosaga.
Yeah,
it was Xenosaga Episode 1. From the beginning.
Well, that's the thing that makes me nervous. Is like they didn't put the.
You almost feel like they're not committing.
Well, they're not. Yeah,
I mean, it's
but
going
also
to sell like crazy. So I mean, they're definitely going to finish it.
I mean, maybe.
They're going to finish.
I don't know. I mean, they're definitely going to finish it, yes. But I still think it's dumb to call it that. And Jonathan G said Square's well known for giving their games stupid names, and that is totally true. But I feel like that's a whole new level.
Usually, I mean, it's not that it's so much a stupid name; it's a lame name. Usually, their names are like they're stupid but elaborate. This is just not it's not even elaborate. It's just the most basic. Like it was as if we released Analog Front and called it the Doc series.
Yeah, or if we
that's what we've been calling it all this time.
Or just,
so they were just calling it the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Everyone in the community was calling it Final Fantasy VII Remake. They've been calling it Final Fantasy VII Remake since the PS3 demo.
Right. Like, it's almost like they just did it because they didn't know what else to call it.
You know what?
What?
You know what? It doesn't annoy me as much as though.
What?
The fact that the Final Fantasy VII, what they call it, the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, like
yes.
when they did Advent Children and Dirge of Cerberus and Crisis Core and what was that mobile game with the Turks?
I thought that was Crisis Core.
That
was Crisis Core, and then there's
Crisis Core is the PSP game with Zack. Before Crisis.
Before Crisis, that's it.
The thing that annoyed me so bad with those is that it's called Advent Children, Final Fantasy VII. Dirge of Cerberus, Final Fantasy VII. Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII. And same thing with like Dissidia, Final Fantasy VII. Dissidia Duodecim 012, Final Fantasy. You know, like it drives me nuts that the Final Fantasy comes second and you can't shelve them or alphabetize them in your backloggery together. Call them by their proper name because the Final Fantasy VII or the Final Fantasy comes second.
Yep. Tenchi Ruya says,
"Oh
Lightning
yeah, Lightning
Returns,
Final Fantasy 13."
Yeah, like I mean, at that point, like it annoys me to no end that it's not just called Final Fantasy 13-3.
Yeah, exactly. Like why?
Just do it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, then do it.
I was about to say that.
I laugh about that because that's what my brother used to always say to me. Coury, if you're gonna do it, then do it.
And I actually, to be honest, kind of want to replay Dirge of Cerberus because, like, I had very little memory of it. I think it was either Dirge of Cerberus or Xenosaga Episode 3. One of those was the first game I bought after I started my job. And I had very little memory of Dirge of Cerberus. Other than, like, I remember thinking, I mean, I knew it was not a very liked game, but I thought it was fine. I thought, like, the boss troop was a little weird. They were a little too, like, modern Nomura, you know? They didn't feel like Final Fantasy VII era Nomura to me. You know, they had, like, different hair colors and stuff that just didn't feel like they fit in with the Final Fantasy VII world. So it didn't leave much of an impression, but like the few times I've like sort of booted it up since then, I'm like, it feels kind of smooth. Like it feels like it could be kind of fun. So I want to revisit it. I remember Crisis Core was like when that came out, that was considered like people were saying like, yeah, this is the best game Square's made in years. And I did not think it was very good.
Yeah, I mean, I barely remember.
I don't remember much about it.
The ending
is
really awesome. The ending is really cool. It's like kind of a cool, just the way it plays out is cool.
I don't quite remember the ending.
When you're Zack and you like basically fight against like endless people, and it's like you have to die eventually, but you can basically keep on going for as long as you want.
Ah.
Can I get up there somehow?
I mean, I don't think that's fair to say the last good game Square Enix made was Final Fantasy 12. Something I've been thinking about a lot, is what a shame it is that so many people that love Final Fantasy will never experience the story of Final Fantasy 14. Because, like, I'm finishing up Stormblood right now, which is the second expansion, and it's like, it's okay. It's fine. It's not that interesting or exciting. Not a lot of surprises along the way. And like the base story of A Realm Reborn is good. It does a lot of good world building and stuff. But the story itself, not necessarily that crazy. But the first expansion, Heavensward, is so good. And like I raved about that in our games we played in 2018 video. Like it is the best Final Fantasy story since the PlayStation 1, without a doubt. Without a doubt. It just has that old-fashioned Final Fantasy story feel, and it was so good. And apparently the third expansion, Shadowbringers, I've heard is similarly good as Heavensward. So I'm excited to get to that. But like it feels, even though it is an MMO, and and there are kind of some obviously big gameplay differences, and differences in how you progress through the game and things like that. Like the story, the atmosphere, the music, like is very like it is Final Fantasy at its best in a lot of those regards. And I think a lot of people just by default say it doesn't count because it's an MMO. Oh, $2 from Joshua Helmke. Thank you. How would you recommend playing Final Fantasy 15? I mean, I played the PS4 version, even though I could play the PC version, at a more stable frame rate. Just because, you know me, I like my console. But I mean, the PC, I mean, those really are your only two options, PS4, PC. The PC version, there's nothing you can do can't do on PC. I mean, the controller support is identical if you prefer controllers to mouse and keyboard, as I do. In fact, in the PC version, you can even make it show PlayStation buttons instead of Xbox buttons if you prefer. It would be nice to see Final Fantasy 14 come to Xbox. I don't think anything has been announced. I mean, it was always, I think, Sony's hang up that, about not wanting to do, crossplay or whatever you want to call it with other platforms. Although, don't forget Final Fantasy 11 was on Xbox 360, and, you play on the same. One of the important things with Final Fantasy 14 and 11 is that everyone plays on the same servers, whether you're playing the PC version, or PS2 or Xbox 360 version of Final Fantasy 11. Of course, the PS2 and Xbox 360 versions are not supported anymore. You can only play 11 on PC now. But on 14, you used to be able to play it on PS3. They discontinued that version though because it was holding up development for Stormblood, and almost everyone that played on PS3 migrated to PS4 anyway at that point. So you could play PS2 and Xbox 360 together in Final Fantasy 11, but it seems like there's definitely the possibility that it could come to Xbox in the future. So that would be nice. For sure. And it's basically confirmed there's going to be like PS5 enhancements of some kind. I'm kind of wondering if they could do like ray tracing or something. Even that would be definitely kind of cool. If it would be upgraded in that kind of way. But yeah, I mean the PS4 version targets 60 frames per second, but unless you're like in an instance, is not likely to be too consistent. But it's not enough to, stop my console peasant loving self from playing the console version. We got $5 from JJJ John.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I have 2 Dreamcasts, my original one and the black one. Only the black one works with my VGA box, but the original works with Tommy VGA cables. Any idea why? That's not something I know much about. I know that there are, slight motherboard revisions to the Dreamcast. I mean that sounds like a Steve Kulov question. I bet he could tell you why. Well, you beat that guy pretty easily.
Yeah, I was surprised. He was like easier than like some of the other.
Yeah, I don't think that was your first try on him, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean his pattern was pretty simple. I'm getting there.
DualShock 4 or Xbox One pad? That's really a toss-up. I mean, I feel like the DualShock 4 is a...
Is this the last boss here?
You'll fight a few mini bosses, but then there's a checkpoint right before the true last boss.
Oh, cool.
I mean, I feel like the DualShock 4 is the best like all-arounder controller because it's got like more comfortable D-pad placement. So it's really good for D-pad games. And after all these years, if the reach on the original DualShock, but after all these years, I'm very used to it, so that's nothing that bothers me now. So I feel the DualShock 4 is a very good all-arounder controller, but the Xbox One controller sure is darn comfy. I mean, the D-pad is very good. It's the first. It's the first time Microsoft made a very good D-pad. So I'm
just like trying to spam like this.
But it's just that it's not in as ideal of a position. Although I had like when I played Cuphead, like I used, I was. I played that for like 6 or 7 hours straight. That was the latest backlog restream marathon. I think we stayed up to like 2 a.m. trying to finish Cuphead. I used the D-pad for the whole thing.
Is this him right here?
So I thought there was more beforehand.
I guess we're gonna find out.
I think I missed the donation. We got I'm assuming that might be Australian dollars, $2 from General Sothany. Thank you. Saying comfy stream.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
I do like to be comfy. That's why I play Final Fantasy 14 on the PS4. I like to be comfy. I mean, yeah, I could do it on my PC too. I just like using consoles. What can I say? We had more trouble. We felt like it was the first phases of this fight that was giving us the most trouble.
The first phases?
Yeah, well, I mean, like where you're fighting this guy right.
Oh, so there's more. Obviously, he's gonna jump on that thing in the background.
Yeah, I mean, there's a giant thing in the back. That part of the fight was longer, but gave us less trouble overall. It was part that was like needlessly taking life. But what you just did with the melee there, that was kind of what I did. Like I was trying to like be really cautious and dodge him and stuff, and then like I just, kind of went for it.
Oh shoot! It doesn't seem like it's that hard. Like I was already.
Yeah, the pattern on the big dude
the melee is. It almost feels overpowered, but like I think that guess that's the point.
Yeah, I guess so. I feel like it's usually not strong enough in a lot of games that do offer it, you know, with the shooting game. Like, it's not enough of a reward to offset. I could actually possibly see this guy being a little easier
with one person.
With one person, because like when he does that spread shot, he'll target one player or the other, and it can kind of make it chaotic to like figure out where he's going. I love how how you bounce off the wall when he that like wave shot. Did you bring the sloth? Did you bring your sloth? Sandy brought her sloth. Go chase it. She's very particular about how you throw her toys. Like if you don't put your heart into the or if it like hits a wall, like for some reason if it like hits a wall, like she'll start running off the thing and hit. Oh, and then she just like turns and looks at me like, what was that? By the way, I don't know if you figured it out, Ray, but those you do not take touch damage from the diamond things.
Okay.
I mean, obviously they were like shooting stuff, so those shots got you, but. Here, Sandy. Here. Come sit with me. Here. Come on. Sigma from Mega Man X1. I definitely thought of that at first, although it's fairly different. I mean, you don't like ride his hand.
Can I destroy the hands?
I don't think so. Your main target is the diamond. Whew, Shattered Soldier, the ultimate couch co-op. That game is so hard, like, to have two people that are, like, good enough at it. Definitely takes some effort. I love this part. How rad is this? It's like 144p on my TV right now. That's okay.
How many phases to the boss are there?
You're kind of in the second to last phase, kind of, depending on how you count a phase.
The depth perception is definitely pretty challenging on those. It was the same way with the flying level too.
Oh yeah.
That
was a really cool effect though.
It is, absolutely.
You really get aggressive with that melee. You know, that warp effect when he draws you in, like it kind of makes me almost think of like a Chrono Trigger spell.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I kind of think of him almost like the first, or I guess technically the second phase of the Lavos battle, you know?
Yeah.
Like the two hands.
So this whole thing is only the second to last phase. I mean, there's another phase after
well,
this.
No. I mean, what I meant was, like, okay, the second time you're in the
I was
grid
closer.
zone is the last phase. Like I forget if you have to do anything when you get out of the grid, but like that's basically.
I was like there basically.
You were pretty darn close. It did not take us long the first time that we. After the first time we got to the second grid, it did not take us a lot long. Is this game at Best Buy?
I feel like
bet
it will
at
be.
Best Buy. Like the last time I went to Best Buy, I was like kind of shocked how many like what percentage of the games in their Switch section are limited run. Like a lot. It will be at Best Buy eventually, but it's not right.
Yeah. Shoot. I didn't want speed. It's like the worst thing you can probably pick.
Like this first phase, I think it was just really tricky because two of us. Did they never post that would be a Best Buy? I've never paid it.
I feel like having the explosive shot is either that or the shield are like my best options.
I mean, the shield is 2 free hits. I mean, the shield is basically 2 extra. How is Best Buy even still around? You know, the thing is, like, over the past, like...
Nope. Just so you know, I heard a donation that looks like it's not a super chat.
Oh, well, I can't read it because my stream 144p.
Oh.
Maybe I can bring it up on my computer. I can't make out that name, but I can't make it out, but I can read the text for some reason. Would you say the Coury OSSC is the best quality you can get from S video? Well,
yeah, I mean that's like the video that we have coming out.
That's what the video this week will address. And I think the conclusion of the video really there's no right answer. We just kind of show you what the capabilities of both the Coury and the RetroTink 2X Pro, which is basically the same, is for all intents and purposes, you know, very similar quality to the regular RetroTink 2X. You know, you're basically going to have to. I made like a stupid number of comparisons for it. I don't even know if Coury's going to be able to put all of them in the video. So it's really going to be a matter of preference, because it's going to be sharper through the OSSC, but you also kind of got to like ask yourself, do I want my composite in S-Video to look that sharp? Like, do I want to see, you know, where those signals fall apart a little bit? It's hard to say. I don't know if I really have a pick for what I prefer either.
I was doing really good there. I do have to dodge roll more.
I don't necessarily mean to volunteer Steve for answering questions, and he stays far away from social media. Yeah, he's a busy guy, but I ask him questions anyway. And I appreciate his answer. Yeah, I mean, S-Video, I mean, it's really kind of amazing comparisons in video that, especially if you're like talking like a non-one chip SNES, like S-Video and RGB don't look that different on the OSSC using the Coury. They do not look that different. I mean, RGB is better, but it's not a stark difference. And of course, composite varies wildly. The characteristics of composite just kind of vary from system to system.
Come
like
on.
A lot.
How did I do so good with it before?
Yeah, there's going to be an episode this week, that mini episode, casual conversation style episode on the Coury and RetroTink 2X Pro, specifically talking about S-Video. I mean, the RetroTink 2X can do component, but we're kind of taking more of the angle of, you know, how does it handle composite and S-Video, because those are, you know, kind of the signals we're interested in comparing in this context. And then after that's going to be the second part of first party controllers. You know, it's going to look at you know, basically the first two generations of 3D consoles, or at least consoles that primarily had 3D games. You know what I mean. And after that, possibly another mini or Analog Frontiers Part 2, just depending on how things go.
stupid move.
I don't know specifically why there is no pass through on the Retrode 2X Pro. I'm guessing it's. I mean, as far as I know, it's same basic chip. I mean, I think the overall like functional design is very similar to the original. So I mean, I think it's just a limitation of the chip that is used. I think, as far as I understand, the main enhancements are it's a bigger board. So the theory there is it you know, there's less noise, I guess. But I never really noticed a lot of noise with the original version, so I don't think that's something to be concerned about. To me, the big upgrade with the Retrode 2X Pro is just usability. It has toggle switches that take a lot of the functions off of the buttons, which kind of with later Retrode 2X units, Mike added some extra modes to accommodate for PAL, and also to offer a different comb filter for composite that was more tuned to retro games, but you had to like toggle through a bunch of different modes on the buttons and lit up the LEDs in different ways, and it got very confusing. So, like I say, I in my opinion, the best feature is
paralyzed.
The best feature is the just sort of ease of use of the Pro. Oh, Mike might look into 480p. You talked about a few days ago. Does he think it might be possible with the existing software? Another one of the big features of the Pro is that it is updatable. So, if it is possible that 480p could work with existing hardware, then that might be something the Pro.
Like sometimes he just goes crazy, and it's like
firmware, but I don't know.
It feels like a lot more difficult sometimes.
But the sort of the catch, I guess, with 480p pass through is you might be thinking of it in terms of like stuff hooked up and not ever have to unhook anything from it. But you kind of have to with it, because Mike does not recommend that you plug in more than one thing at once. Because I have done that and I thought it was okay, but then I ran into situations where I was losing brightness on one input when I wasn't using the other. And I'm not sure if I was accidentally sending a signal, because what was happening was I was actually using my RCA port PlayStation to simultaneously output composite and S-video, and I didn't think my Extron was routing both to the Retrode at the time, but it's possible it was. So ultimately, I'm not sure whether it matters if it's actually sending a signal or not, if that makes sense, whether it darkens the picture. But if you don't have another cable plugged in, it's fine. So I guess what I'm saying is, don't necessarily count on being able to just like have all your cables plugged into the Retrode at once. You may have to swap them depending on what system you're playing. If anyone remembers when I streamed with when I streamed with the Retrode, like, I don't know, like a month ago or so. And at the very end, I tried to play some Wave Race 64 in S video, and it was kind of dark and oversaturated, and I couldn't figure out why. It turned out that I realized what it was this week finally. It was because I still had the PlayStation turned on, and it was sending a signal to the Retrode through the composite port, while the N64 was sending us video, and it was darkening the picture because of that. You got this. You got it.
Not that time, I don't. I just not the laser. I didn't mean to.
So yeah, I mean, everything is like going through that ship, you know, as far as I understand on the Retro. So, but man, composite like is really clean on the actually. I mean, it's still composite, but I mean, the Coury is you know, it's going to show you composite for what it is. Let's just say that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we say in the video. I mean, that was like my big point was, in a lot of ways, the Coury shows composite how it truly is, and the Retro Tank like really tries to make it look better.
It tries to make it palatable. It really minimizes artifacts and stuff like that, but it's not bad on the Retro Tank composite, really. You know, one I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I mean, I like both of them a lot.
Shoot.
There is kind of an issue that we ran into with the Coury regarding 4AI that we think is fixable.
Yeah,
but
it
you
should be.
do need like a particular kind of programmer to flash the firmware. You said you looked one up. Did you ever get an answer on what
I haven't got an answer yet.
it would work? How much is it?
$10.
Oh, okay. I assume there is free software for, you know, actually riding. Hopefully. What kind of programmer was it?
The USB like ASP or something like that. Shoot. I'm getting annoyed. I mean, it's not like that hard.
No, it's not. Well, if you don't beat him by midnight, maybe like that, you know?
No, I mean, I can't give up at this point.
I'm not saying give up. I'm just saying, you know, maybe you need to like stand up and come back. You know, like I said before, sometimes a little bathroom break is all you need. What you doing? What you doing? You wanna lay here? Okay.
I heard another donation. Sounds like it's...
Ooh? Gosh, I'm so sorry that I'm watching it in 144p.
Can you go to a higher?
Well, it went up. Yeah, I can see it. Lucas, 2365 donated $3. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can do it, Coury. I believe in you. All caps, no punctuation. I hope that came across in my delivery.
So you can like juggle your clone here, and then.
Oh really?
Yeah, against the wall.
I mean, she goes down really quick.
Yeah. Come on. I think it's like.
Oh, and $2 from David Denuzio. Thank you. Saying, go, Coury! Ultra HDMI hardware 2? What's that supposed to have?
That's the one that has analog out built into it.
Oh.
Come on. It's like it gets so chaotic. I like the G.
You get those 2 extra hits with.
That's true.
I mean that's 2 live.
That's very true. And I. Why don't you just like load the checkpoint? Like immediately, like if you have like a bad start.
Were you invincible when you were meleeing him? Because like it shot like right.
Yeah. I mean.
I feel like you're getting hit too often by that like.
Yeah, there's no reason
by that
for it.
Spray, like it's such an easy thing to dodge.
I know it is.
I mean, you might be relying on the melee a little too much. Like you're just trying to be all in his face at all times, and like.
I mean, not really. Like not right here. I'm not.
No, but I'm saying like when he does that like spray of fire across the floor, you know.
Yeah. I don't even know why I'm continuing to try here with 0 lives. I'll try the shield next. I mean, that's...
Yeah. It's an extra hit. Yeah, are you second guessing the direction to run?
No, because I can't...
Okay, well, I mean, sometimes it looks like you don't...
No, sometimes I hit the thing to like actually like do a dodge roll out of the way, but it jumps.
Oh, what? You do? What is it? Down and jump?
Yeah.
Yeah, the shield bot is available on normal. There's something available on easy. I don't think we ever figured out what it was.
I bet you get the shield bot like every life or something.
I forget what it is. It says when you're selecting the modes, like something is available there that's not normal, and I didn't quite know what it was. Armando in the chat says, "Don't use the G because you'll suffer just like G did." Doing pretty good without the G.
Yeah. It just goes quicker with a G. I do like in the Resident Evil 2 remake how they just refer to like all the pamphlets just
the G virus
to,
spawns.
Yeah, but they just call it as G.
Oh. Yeah, that was definitely new. The first time I saw one, I thought it was like a new Birkin evolution that was just like wandering around. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty scary. You mean in like the sewers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was just walking down one of the tunnels and like I saw a thing with an eyeball on its shoulder.
Yeah.
What else has an eyeball on its shoulder other than Birkin? Yeah, can she break out of that once you start meleeing her?
No. If you get her in the corner, absolutely not. Alright, here we go. Let's see if we can survive this thing now. I wonder if there's like a random element to this. But I feel like sometimes it's different.
I don't think these are random.
Fight her again.
I think you'll fight the robot now. Oh, is it just her again? I can't tell because it's so low resolution. Was it you or was it your robot?
I don't know. It seemed like something else. Is that it? Or is there...
I think that is it. I mean, since I played it co-op, the second one was the robot.
Oh, well,
Maybe
I mean, that makes
sense.
sense.
One was the robot? I can't remember. But we definitely fought one of the robot and one of her. I forget their names.
Mission accomplished. Still chewing her bubble gum, too.
Yeah.
I did it. Is there another escape sequence?
There was.
No,
I'd call that guy the
F4 Games
police,
says,
if you remember from Contra Hardcore.
You made it, but not only did you finish it, but you finished it on normal.
I like the ending sequence. There's a lot of cool shots in it.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Like the color palette in this, it doesn't just make me think like a Genesis game, but it makes me think of a 32X game. It feels like a 32X game, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna be a robot, you might as well have a mohawk.
You might as well. Those characters, the ninja and that lady, are the unlockable.
Do they unlock? Both unlock?
They both unlock, yeah. They play differently. They don't get to use the special weapons. If I remember correctly, they don't use the special weapons, but they
Oh, it's this music.
They've got
Oh man, the ending.
Yeah, it loads the CD music, right?
Yeah. That's great.
Their shots have a more limited range, but are powerful. Like, they didn't seem to necessarily be clearly better or worse than the other characters, just different.
Well, I think that's good. It makes me think of the extra characters in. Oh, I see another donation popped up. It makes me think of the extra characters in Wild Guns Reloaded and Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
That was Bond Spy with $10. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying thank you both for your content, and thank you, Coury, for retrying. We try to see it through to the end, we try. We don't always get there, but we're willing to put in a little overtime to beat the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, I love this ending. Like, this music is great. Oh, I'll F4 your in the special thanks. What was your name? Was that did I just miss? Did it say Alt F4 for games that was in there, or is it your name? I didn't realize that you'd worked on it, or you were involved in some way. That's awesome.
It's a good game to be associated with.
Yeah.
This is the Switch version.
I bought the PS4 version as well.
You bought what?
I bought the PS4 version also.
Oh, okay. Digital or? Oh, you did. Yeah, that's right. You bought both.
Yeah, I mean, when it's games that I know that I am gonna like.
Yeah.
And
I get it.
You never know. You never know.
The name in the credits was Tim. I was a bit involved with giving back before its release. Also, I voiced the haha hey bro guy in the first level.
That's great.
I love the voices game. Like just the over the top compression that they used is so good.
Oh, awesome! Thanks for sticking around till the sun came up. And remember, oh, yeah. I mean, seriously, it's. Thinking about it, the clock's changed.
Did you not have daylight savings yesterday where you're located? Because I remember
that's the deal with it, right?
One of our regulars in the backloggery streams. He doesn't make it as often as he used to, but He was there for the streams most of the time for a long time, and he lived in France and or lives in France, and
I'm so happy.
I remember like there was like a period of like 2 weeks where the stream was not as late for him.
Oh, so there's no support capsules in here. So there's just the weapons.
So what does it say on easy mode that is missing? That easy mode has that. Get
one. Easy mode does not have leaderboards, and you get 7 lives. And it gets something called support capsules. You want me to try it?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know
default
what
mode.
Capsules
that's cool. A mirror mode.
Oh yeah. I mean, pretty good set of unlocks.
Yeah, I mean, is this the guy from? I mean.
Oh, from Oninaki.
Yeah.
Or not Oninaki. Always get I got my physical version of Oninaki and the Oniken and Odalis collection around the same time, and I every once in a while I call them the wrong game. Oniken. I bet it is like loosely that guy. Maybe. He definitely makes me think of it. Oh yeah, he's got like that like air dash. And that lady, by the way, plays the same.
As him?
Yeah, her attack looks different, if I recall, but it's functionally the same. I literally had no idea daylight saving.
Oh yeah.
Today until I was playing Final Fantasy 14 with a friend last night. And I was like saying, "Well, I better head to bed." He's like, "Oh yeah, it's means I'm huh?"
Well,
that had nothing to do with why I said I was going. I literally
as someone who has kids, when it switches over to daylight savings, when they spring forward, it means that life gets a lot more difficult because kids want to stay up later.
Yeah,
and also if they're in school,
but
that's exceptionally difficult to get them, like wake them up.
I do prefer to not be dark, as early. When we're on, what do we call it, standard time?
Yeah.
In the fall and winter, it gets dark so much earlier, and sometimes I fall behind on picking up Sandy's poop because it's dark.
Yeah. Well.
But now I'm on schedule because it's still daylight when she goes to the bathroom.
Speaking of that, I mean, I don't know if I might have not told. I told you this the other night. So my kids were really like bugging me for a while about wanting to watch Jurassic Park, and I was like, no, you can't watch Jurassic Park. You guys you need to be a bit older before you watch Jurassic Park, because I mean, I remember the T-Rex part like scaring me when I was like 13, seeing it in the theater, like opening weekend.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater, and I was what, like 8, I guess.
Yeah, but they kept on hounding me about it, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna put it on, and that is fine. Like if it's like once it becomes too scary for you, then you just let me know, and I'll turn it off. And I put it on, and the opening scene plays, where the guy gets like pulled into the cage.
Yeah.
And like my daughter, she was out. She's like, I don't really want to watch this anymore. And my son really wanted to watch, and so he stuck with it for a while. And the thing is, so he has basically no point of reference at all for it anymore. Like his whole reference is like the Lego Jurassic World that's on Netflix. So he knows that he knows the characters from that, He specifically knows Owen, which is like the main character in that.
Yeah. Star-Lord.
Yeah, Star-Lord. And like immediately when the movie started, he's like, when's Owen gonna show up? I'm like, well, Owen is probably like a kid at this point. And then the whole thing happens with when Grant like tells the kid about the Raptors and like scars him for life with the
yeah, he like runs the claw across his belly.
Yeah. My son was like, I think that's Owen. Which got me thinking, like, wouldn't it be funny if that was like they like made that the canon? That like he was so
it's hilarious that your son is like 5 years old and already coming up with
fan theories about it, which I think would be really funny if that was the if that's how it went. I wonder
if anyone else has made that theory.
Yeah. Kind of like how they always like they kind of retcon like or put it like a not retcon but like just put a like a mention of the little kid that sees Iron Man at the World Fair in Iron Man 2. Like they said like, oh, that's like a young Peter Parker.
Oh really?
Yeah.
He said that?
Or like it's like during the ending. Like during like the portion of the ending. Like he almost like falls into him or something like that. I forgot what happened.
They made that. Did they made that official?
I believe they made it official. They said that was Peter Parker. Oh, so JC Band is saying so that is a popular fan theory. Is that is Owen? Is that kid? Like he was like it was that it made such a impact on him that he wanted to spend the rest of his life proving that the Raptors like aren't that as scary as he made him believe that they were.
That actually would be funny because he did like his whole thing was they aren't that scary.
Yeah, it's like an oversized.
Man, I was sick last year at some point. I just had a cold that just knocked me on my butt for a week, and you know I finally got around to watching 2 newer Jurassic Park. I hadn't seen either of the Jurassic.
I haven't seen the most recent one.
And you know, I figured I was going to be like pretty okay with them, but they weren't great.
They weren't great?
They were not great.
No. I mean, the best part, at least, of Jurassic World is like the callbacks to the original. Honestly.
Yeah, they were just
like when they found the old visitor center. Like that was like the best part of the whole movie.
Yeah. I mean, I love the concept of Jurassic World. Like I love the idea that eventually came functioning park. Like that's a great idea, but like the movie, like it wasn't anything bad about it, but it also wasn't. It just wasn't like good either.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what the whole point.
Like it felt very. I don't know. It just kind of felt phoned in. I guess is the best way I can put it. Like it didn't feel like there was much passion.
Yes.
Which just kind of surprised me. I don't know. I thought it would.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, like none of the sequels were good. I mean, like we're.
Yeah, I mean you're right.
I'm not gonna say that they were bad,
right,
but they weren't like
it
certainly
it felt
they didn't
like
weren't
after
good.
all that time, like probably come up with a good sequel by then.
Right.
But I don't know. But the second one is like the second or the fifth one, I guess you want to call it. Like I don't know when the next one is going to come out, but I mean,
well, they just started filming it.
Things happen in the fifth one that like I just don't know where the next one's going to go. I mean, I guess I kind of can tell where it's going to go, but It's things happen. That's all I'll say.
But it has something to do with like weaponizing them, right?
Huh?
Does it have something to do with like the military wants to weaponize them or something?
Kind of, yeah.
Which is, I feel, such a boring approach at this point in time. It just seems like such a, I don't know, it's such a typical direction to take it.
Yeah, but it was not great.
Yeah. But I mean, the original Jurassic Park is an amazing movie. I see someone saying like they should have made Canadian Fuzzy was saying that Jurassic Park was a movie that shouldn't have had any sequels. And
well, there was a second book though.
But the book was written basically so they can make a movie of it.
Well, I mean, I don't know much of the details.
Yeah, I mean the book. Was written after the movie came out. I have not
seen the second movie in a very long time. I remember, as a kid, I thought it was fine, but I'm sure I would hate it if I revisited
the second one.
Today. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's.
As a kid, I was not offended by it, but
Yeah, I mean, I saw it in the theater like opening night. I was so excited, and it was very disappointing for me. Yeah. And well, I tried to watch it. I've watched it many times since then, and it's like I've never crossed over to say like this is not that bad, because it's I mean, not only is it just like not a great movie, but like the end, the way it gets into the whole they bring the T-Rex to whatever, like San Diego or whatever, and it gets loose. It's stupid.
Yeah, well, after I watched, the fourth and fifth movies, I went and rewatched the first, for the first time in a good number of years. And I mean, man, it's still such a good movie.
The original?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's really good. I remember that movie. It was one of those movies that was just in theaters forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it when it came out, like that opening weekend, and I saw it again in the theater almost a year later.
Wow. I honestly couldn't say whether I saw it like how close I saw it to release, because I'm pretty sure it was like the cheap theater that I went to see it at.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no clue when that was, but I mean, I feel like there was a time, and maybe people are still saying this, but I feel like there was a time people were starting to like, it was getting popular to say like, oh, Jurassic Park, like it hasn't really held up, or it's not actually that great, and I disagree.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of CGs, you kind of notice a lot of CG sequences you see. But more issues than I remember seeing like last time I watched it.
But the CG holds up better than like. Well, I would say like
it was used so sparingly. I mean, it's only certain. It's mainly because it's used so sparingly.
Right, it holds up better than like Star Wars Episode 1 CG.
Because you'll never get I mean, because you'll very rarely get multiple shots in a row that are
right.
CG. And I see Good Vibe Collecting is saying, it has the first one had the iconic John Williams theme, and when they first fly into the island and the theme first comes on, it is like still like gives me chills, and like it's immediately followed with like the second theme there when they first see the dinosaur, or when they first see the Brontosaurus.
Yeah.
And
the ending too.
Yes. But I mean, it's such an interesting thing, because I really feel like that is after that movie is when Steven Spielberg like stopped being like the Spielberg of like that he had been up to that point
of the 80s.
Yes, I mean he became like a different filmmaker from that point forward.
I could see that,
and not in a bad way, but
right.
But definitely different.
He basically just started making like what he.
Yeah.
At that point.
Right.
Like maybe movies that were just like, not necessarily like the big, like exciting, like ideas that, obviously everyone's going to want to see this. Like he didn't care if everyone wanted to see it.
Right. And I mean, I think his next movie after that was Schindler's List, which is, an incredible movie, but it's difficult to watch too.
Yeah, it's not like something you're just gonna watch again. Jurassic Park,
right?
Actually, I have not seen that many like post Jurassic Park Spielberg movies. Like, I mean, I've seen a good number. Like, there are so many more I haven't seen because he's still very prolific.
I mean, you haven't watched Ready Player One, right?
I have, yeah.
I mean, it was okay.
I thought you were really talking it up. I thought it was just
like I like it a lot, but it was, I mean, upon rewatches, I didn't like it.
I was not amazed by it. It was entertaining, but it's not like I'm watching.
Yeah.
I really liked Catch Me If You Can and Minority Report.
Yeah, both of those are very good. But I mean, they're a different feel to those.
Yeah, but other than those, like Ready Player One, Minority Report, and Catch Me If You Can, like
You see AI?
Yeah, I saw AI. I watched AI for the first time within the past like or two. And I really liked it.
Yes, I did too. I mean, a lot of people were very hard on it. I think when it came.
I remember when it came out, it wasn't particularly well received.
Well, just because they had that whole ending sequence that I think
I thought was good. I thought the ending was
good. Like everyone's like, oh, it should have ended with him like underwater and fade out, but that would have been so. I don't know, like it would have been cool to end it like that, but I wouldn't want it to have. I wouldn't want that to be reality.
I thought it was really. I was.
Right. It was.
I was in L.A. when AI released, and I remember because it was like the summer between my junior and senior year in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And me and some of my friends did this thing at UCLA called the media workshops, and it like had like it was just sort of this summer camp for people interested in like media, movies, TV,
right,
that kind of stuff. And we toured like a couple of like a TV studio. Went a few other places other than just UCLA, and we went to Hollywood, like we went outside the Mann's Chinese Theater,
mm-hmm.
and like they were like I think like it might have even been like the opening night for AI, and like they had like signs out, so they were show that because those theaters only show like one movie,
right?
Because they're just one screen. So like we thought about going to see AI because we had like a free evening before we flew out, and we like me and one of my other friends, and then like one of the other met at the camp like we were hanging out with, and we're like, oh, we should go to a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought about going to see AI, but we ended up going to see the Mark Wahlberg Planet of the Apes instead.
Oh man, that's too bad.
Yeah, I wish we had like, and all these years later, I still never watched AI until it might have even been last year, but I thought it was very good. I was impressed.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's it's sad. It is.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did not finish Jurassic Park though. I really wanted to get to the T-Rex part because I wanted to see if that.
Oh, so your son got scared and had to check out.
He just got like bored after.
Oh, he got what?
No, I mean, I don't know. Like I think he just like didn't understand that the whole because there's that lull of stuff between first
right, yeah. So he was like
he
was uninterested in people talking about the like he just wanted dinosaurs.
The only time he got back into it is when Mr. DNA showed up. He's like, oh, it's like a cartoon now. Dinosaurs. But I mean, we'll give it another shot later on. But it's just funny to think about how my daughter was like immediately scared because like in the things that she watches whenever there's dinosaurs, there is like they're never represented as like eating people. She's been watching too much Dino Dana and Dino Dan.
So did she not think that Jurassic Park was going to be about dinosaurs?
Yeah, well, she's like, I hear the donation.
We got $2 from Carter Dotson saying thanks for the stream tonight.
Yeah,
well, thank you, and thank you for watching.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that they'll give another shot another time in the future. But she was like, what happened to that guy? And I'm like, oh, he got eaten. She's like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Like it's like it took less than 5 minutes. She's like, does anybody else die? I'm like, yeah, a lot of other people die. I mean,
well, good time. Good thing she didn't get up to
the T-Rex
to the
would have
part
been like...
where she's like putting the power back online, and then the hand is
when it breaks through.
No. When
the
like
kid is on
the bitten off arm like falls on her shoulder, and it's like,
yeah.
You think it's
Samuel Jackson's arm, isn't it?
The hunter at first.
Yeah, but is it? I think that's Samuel Jackson's arm. Like his character's arm is the one that falls.
Well, I think so because she said, "Oh, Mr. Arnold." Then,
yeah.
I don't know why she thought it was him though, because why would he? Like, she was pretty far away. Like, I always my first thought was like, "Oh, it must be the hunter."
Oh, I don't know.
But yeah.
But I mean, it's a classic movie.
It's great.
Movie. I feel like when I saw that movie the second time in the theater, and after it was like a year later, and I remember that was when I went to go pre-order. It was either Illusion of Gaia or Breath of Fire.
What was it that you bought on VHS the same day that in your mailbox you found these?
Well, I got the Donkey Kong.
Yeah, you got the Donkey Kong Country VHS tape.
In the same
day.
But
wasn't it the same day that you picked up
Jurassic Park? I got Jurassic.
It
Park.
was Jurassic Park. Okay.
And it was like I didn't know which one to watch first.
So you got Jurassic Park pre-ordered Illusion of Gaia and got the Donkey Kong Country VHS tape all on the same day.
No. I saw Jurassic Park again in the theater. It was like a year later.
Oh, okay.
So that would have probably, like, it was probably, when it came out in video, it was probably the following September or October.
Okay.
So
I see your Illusion of Gaia box behind you.
Oh, do you? Oh, yeah. I have a complete version of that one.
Is that your original?
It is not. But I made sure to buy that as complete.
Oh, Josh Way donated $2 and says, "Wrote my college thesis on AI. Happy you like it." Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think at the time when it came out, there was a lot of people that were really hard on it, especially since it was Kubrick's and probably it was so close to. I mean, Kubrick died like a couple of years before it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably a lot of that. Like, oh, if Kubrick had made it, it would have been so much better.
I mean, I've not seen that many Kubrick films, but like, I like Steven Spielberg more.
Yeah.
What can I say?
But yeah, I mean, I must have gone and pre-ordered Illusion of Gaia. I'd have to look at the release dates for that. It was either Illusion of Gaia or Breath of Fire. I feel like it was Illusion of Gaia, and I think that at that same time, I remember being at the mall and I was saying like, and seeing Earthbound, and saying like, this doesn't look very good. The graphics on it are not very good.
You know, I was recording some. I made a comparison with Illusion of Gaia. You know, I used to have it. I don't have it anymore. C2S and ES. But like the water effect in that game is like so good. Oh wow, we got a $2 donation from Lucas2365. He says watching Jurassic Park in the theater is literally my first memory. That's a good and horrifying first memory.
Yeah, my first memory for some reason is spilling an entire box of Mr. Bubble bath powder like all over the floor. I don't know. I may have been 3.
My first like vivid memory is playing NES for the first time, but I'm sure I have other memories before then, but it's just like I don't even know what order like it goes in. You know? Yeah. But that's like the first like really clear, like I just like remember everything about that experience.
What's interesting about Jurassic Park though is when it re-released for the was it the 30th or was it 25th anniversary? Whatever one where they re-released it in theaters. It was just a few years ago. It was like 5 years ago. So was it like it was like was it 20th anniversary? It wouldn't have been 20th anniversary. I don't know. Whenever they re-release in theaters, I was in my hometown for my grandmother's funeral, and my brother and I went to see it, and I got to see it in the exact same theater I originally saw it in.
I'm sure it was quite different though at that time.
Oh, yep, 25th. So it would have been, yeah. I get messed up on years because I know I was still in New York, and I forget that I've been here since 2014. We just passed.
You've already moved to another house.
Yeah, but I mean, what's interesting is that I had a little thing pop up on my Facebook the other day saying like, you know, this was your memory. This is your most liked photo 6 years ago today, and it was like the day that we left New York. it was, you know, a picture of my wife, my daughter, and I in front of our apartment for the last time.
All right, well, is that about going to wrap it up, Sandy?
I think so. Sorry, I just got off on a little topic there. But Anyways, thanks everybody for donating and everybody for sticking around for my failure and eventual success.
I was glad you were able to beat it. It's a great game.
Outside of Phantasy Star Online, I think we've beaten a game on every single stream we've done this year, except for that one.
I did not beat Sparkster on Genesis.
Oh, okay, you're right.
And I feel like I didn't. Last week I didn't. Was it last week that I did Star Fox Assault?
Oh, you didn't beat that, man. I guess
I didn't beat that either. I tried to
Batman.
see if in the last parts of the stream if I could finish 1080 Avalanche, but I couldn't. But we've overall been on a good streak with.
Yeah, I think so too. Anyways, we'll see you soon. Good night, everybody.
All right. Good night, everyone.